Actually talk at full volume. I'm killing myself.
Is that better?
Check 1, 2. Test, test. Good evening, Griswoldians. It's a beautiful night for football here at Wolverine Radio. That's right, it's a home football game tonight at 211 Slater Avenue right here in Griswold. It's the Griswold Wolverines versus the Trumbull Golden Eagles. That's right, they've made a long drive for a big night. It is miserable outside as far as the weather goes, but we've got a great matchup for you tonight. And hey, I'm just going to say right at the top of our broadcast here, we're still about 10 or 11 minutes out from our first kickoff of the evening, that it is also a great night to watch the game tonight on YouTube. Head on over to the Wolverine Radio Facebook page, click on the link, and join us on YouTube. You'll get Kevin and myself, PJ Pastor Josh, our coverage, along with some amazing video work done by Kyle next door in the press box. And so, folks, put on some hot chocolate, get another log on the fire, watch the boys play in the mud. It's a great night for football. If you're able to join us tonight, bring an umbrella because the conditions on the field are raw and rainy. Kevin T., good to see you tonight. Thanks for joining me here as well. So talk to us a little bit about the boys we're going to be playing against tonight.
Josh, the Golden Eagles, double L level football team, school in general in terms of sports, which is the highest level in the state of Connecticut. A lot of states do their things differently in terms of how they rank, but double L is the highest in Connecticut you can have. So they play the big boys down in Fairfield County generally. There's one common opponent that anybody in the ECC has played that Trumbull also played. It's Trinity Catholic.
Okay.
Killingly played Trinity Catholic. They beat them 34-14. Trumbull played them and beat them 38-7. So they beat them by even a bigger margin than Killingly, and Killingly hosted Trinity Catholic. So that just gives you an idea of when you're playing at a double L level, the difference sometimes in the talent. You were recognizing the size. I think you called them the something horde. Mongol horde.
When we were coming 78 boys on the roster?
Yeah, something like 70 kids that they have on the roster. I'm not sure if they brought them all tonight. But they were smart. They brought a little pop-up tent on the sideline so some of the kids and the parents can go under there. But it's a long way to travel for a night like this, Josh. This field is certainly the conditions are going to come into play. This is a pig pen tonight.
It is.
It's a lot of mud. It's a lot of rain. And it's going to be slip-sliding away out there. It's going to be difficult to throw the ball with this kind of rain. It's also raw. I mean, if it was raining and it was 70 degrees out,
right,
a little easier to hold on to the ball, not only from a passing perspective, but the quarterbacks being able to grip the ball would make it easier. So I think you're going to see a lot of ground and pound tonight from both sides. We'll see as the game goes on what happens. It's also senior night tonight, Josh.
It is,
so
yeah. The seniors.
They're recognizing all the seniors that are involved in the football program, from the cheerleaders to the players. So it's interesting to see this. Those of us that have played sports have been through this, and it's kind of an interesting night. I know your son's being recognized tonight.
He is.
He's a senior in the band up at Killingly,
That's
so
right.
he's being recognized tonight up there.
Yep.
And that's a great thing. It's just to be recognized for all the years of dedication that you've had and whatever role you played to make football what it is in America.
Well, having a senior in the program this year and you have an 8th grader in the same program, we've been talking offline a number of times about how much work it is as a mom and a dad to be there for your child when they're involved at this level of high school sports. So it is a good night. We are recognizing the seniors and their parents. There's a lot of umbrellas out on the field. For the few listeners that might be worried about the field, like, isn't the field going to get messed up tonight? The answer is yes. The field is going to be destroyed by the end of the first quarter. But the good news is, for those of you who are worried about the field, is that this is our last game of the season. The boys will not be playing on this field after tonight, as the only other game on our calendar, I can't believe it's already come and gone this fast, is in 2 weeks on Thanksgiving Day up in Plainfield.
Plainfield will host the Thanksgiving Day game this year, and it'll be interesting to see because if Griswold wins tonight, they'll be 6-3, same record they had rolling in last year to the Thanksgiving Day game. Plainfield came in with only 2 losses last year on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
They had a chance to make it to the playoffs, and Griswold ruined that chance for them. They spoiled it with an upset on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, it was quite the game. Interestingly enough, the Trumbull Golden Eagles are 4-4, so they actually come in tonight with a worse record than the Wolverines. However, it will be an interesting game. I'll tell you right now, what will be interesting is I think the field conditions and the rain are going to be a great equalizer, because anything you've got special going on, you can just forget it tonight, because it's going to be up the gut, trying to get around the end, trying to contain the corner. Again, any serious attempts at throwing the ball, which is how we score most of our points, is going to be very challenging tonight because of the temperature and the rain and the visibility. So the rain might be a great equalizer.
The rain might be a great equalizer. Just to give you an idea, for those of you that are listening, if you follow high school football in Connecticut, the town Darien is always normally in the hunt for the number 1 team in the state. And that's who Trumbull played a couple weeks ago, and they lost 42-13. So, if you can hang with those types of teams, it's obviously telling you the competition level steps up a little bit. One of the things I'm noticing, Josh, and we've talked about this several times throughout the year, is going through the seniors. A lot of the line is gone. They're leaving. They're all gone. Falco, Corey Carr, Shamari Richards, Steven Sims, all gone. From this year's team will be all gone next year, so it's going to be a tough year to replace them. Jaden Ellis as well. That's one name.
Well, I think you mentioned last week that as far as the talent positions go, running backs, wide receivers, and that kind of thing, quarterback, of course, that we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the skill positions are underclassmen by and large, so they're going to have a lot of people coming back next year there, but they always say that football starts up front.
And one of the things that we've been mentioning this year, every game, because it's the same 4 or 5 guys that are not just the offensive line, they're also the defense, and they have had a heck of a season. They have done a great job rattling opponent quarterbacks. They've done a great job of shutting down the run, and they've also done a really nice job of giving Koziel those 4 to 6 seconds that he needs as he's matured into a quarterback that takes, we call it the option with teeth. He's really evaluating his options. He's grown up a lot just since our first game this season in September against Bacon Academy, and part of the reason he's been able to do that, I think, is he's had the time to explore what it means to, am I going to throw, am I going to run, am I going to hand it off? So can't say enough about the captains and the line who are all out there right now being recognized as seniors. And so, there'll be an opportunity this time next year or in August and stuff for some young men to step up. They've got some big shoes to fill.
They will indeed. They'll have big shoes to fill. Steven Sims is just being announced here, and it was a huge cheer for him. He's all 3 years that I've been doing this, he's been a starter. So from his sophomore season right on through, and that's tough to do as a center. Obviously, everything starts with you
Yeah.
on offense. And they also said that he's a National Honor Society
Oh, wow.
and ECC
Okay.
Scholar athlete, so that's
Wow.
good to know.
Wow. Very cool. About 3.5 minutes before the kickoff tonight. Of course, that might flex a little bit with the ceremonies that are taking place right now out on the field. It is a really good night, folks, to catch the game on YouTube. If you go to the Facebook page, check out Wolverine Radio, click on the link, and you can watch the game tonight from the comfort of your home. There are some fans out here tonight. There's actually, because I think it's senior night, there's a pretty good attendance considering just how miserable it is outside. But it should be a fun game. It's going to be, the uniforms are going to get destroyed. The field's going to get destroyed all in the first 12 minutes of play. That is for sure.
All right, so we talked about Thanksgiving a little bit. So it's a show your colors on Thanksgiving, selling some shirts. So each shirt sold earns money for the winning team on Thanksgiving. So what side are you on?
Oh, that's cool.
And it has both teams.
All right.
So and that's you can order at squareup.com/store/Wolverine-media. Again, that's squareup.com/store/Wolverine-media. If you want a shirt about showing your colors on Thanksgiving.
Well, we're going to take a break and send it to commercial to give some attention to the fine folks that sponsor our programming and coverage of the Wolverines this season. And so we're about 2 minutes away from the coin toss and the kickoff. And when we come back, that's what we'll be talking to you about. So enjoy the sponsors and listen up to the fine folks that make our presentation available to you, not only on the radio, but also tonight online on YouTube. So come back in a couple of minutes for continuing live coverage of the Griswold Wolverines versus the Trumbull Golden Eagles here at home. It's senior night on Wolverine Radio. To Wolverine Radio's continuing live coverage of the Griswold Wolverines versus the Trumbull Golden Eagles. These folks brought about 70 students from a long way away to play in the mud, folks. And so it's senior night here tonight. The captains are lining up for the final time in the regular season. Of course, this is our second to last game. Our last game is coming up in about 2 weeks on Thanksgiving Day. This is PJ Pastor Josh with my friend KT Kevin Thompson broadcasting live from the Griswold Pride broadcast booth located here at 211 Slater Ave. There go the captains. Kevin, what do we think as far as now numerically we're swamped? They have 3 football teams on the other side of the field, but this is the first time we get to look at size and stature, and what are we seeing here?
Actually, size-wise, not much difference there. I think number 5 for them, probably, I would guess he's their quarterback. Colton Nicholas. Yeah, Colton Nicholas, he's their senior quarterback. He's the captain. So that's number 5. He's the only one that's taller than anybody from our team. Everybody else is pretty evenly sized here. Maybe a little wider.
Now, this is a new opponent for us. In the 3 or 4 years
never played them in the years we've been covering now.
They've got cool uniforms. It's black trousers with golden with white accents on top, and of course the boys.
It's
are
almost
green
like
on top.
that color rush type uniform that they have in the NFL now too, where it's kind of faded white into gold type thing with the gold helmets.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Not quite like Notre Dame, but similar kind of helmet.
Now tonight it doesn't. Of course, our home team boys are green on top and black below. Bottom line is, unless you're a referee, it doesn't matter what color your uniform is tonight because they're all going to be mud here sooner rather than later. So let's see. It looks like the boys have
Griswold
done the coin toss.
Is going to get the ball first.
Griswold to receive here in just a few moments. We're going to have the kickoff. Boys are shaking hands, heading back to their respective sidelines. We anticipate the national anthem any moment. Now, with the rain tonight, that wreaks havoc with sound systems and bands and chorus groups. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is for the national anthem tonight. Even though it's chilly and rainy, there is no wind. So that is one. That's really the only bright spot in tonight's coverage regarding the weather.
They're right there. So the chorus is actually in here with us, to our left. So.
And bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Well, folks, it's time for football. That was the best national anthem of the year when they sing right next door. That's why I couldn't see them.
Could hear that loud and clear.
They're on the other side of the wall. That was beautifully done. Thank you, folks. So it's football time. 12 fresh minutes set up on the clock. The boys are heading back to the bench. Kevin, you noticed earlier that the JV squad did not join the varsity squad.
A lot of the Griswold younger JV players are not dressed for tonight. They definitely have less people on the bench. So to bring you an update, they are missing a key player tonight, Josh. CJ Matson is out. We talked to his dad just before the game. He's one of the coaches for the Wolverines, and he told us that he had a nasty high ankle sprain with a pretty nice contusion on the back of his leg, just above his Achilles. So he can put weight on it, but he can't cut and run. So
now that injury
he's out for
took
tonight.
Place at
Hopefully back for
week's
Thanksgiving.
Game.
Is their hope.
So that was a week ago that he sustained that injury going into the end zone. It was a series of plays resulting in a Wolverine touchdown, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, we did lose C.J. Matson, which is lousy. So the Golden Eagles are back to kick tonight from the 40-yard line. Wolverines are back to receive.
Interesting ball position here, Josh. They have it on the far hash.
They do.
With 4 players on.
I think it's because of the mud.
Probably. That's actually probably a good call there. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, kicks it away.
Beautiful kick. The middle of the field is already completely muddy. So the Wolverines catch a very beautiful kick by the Golden Eagles, fighting their way forward. The Wolverines are going to take over on downs inside the 30-yard line in their own territory.
It's going to be hard to see the yard. as they start to run and move, the hash marks are going to get totally blurred out for us. We'll do our best, folks, to give you an idea. As you're watching, you can probably actually see it better from the lighting than we can live. So
join us on YouTube tonight. We've got the game being broadcast on YouTube as well as here in the field, so you're welcome to join us there.
Coming out in the typical split wing here, Josh.
It's a handoff right up the middle as first play of the game. Getting some good yards, finding some traction in the middle of that mud. Nice job there by Chris Thibodeau.
Picked up about 5.
So that was kind of impressive, Kevin. We'll see how long that lasts because as you can see, if you're joining us on YouTube, the center of the field is basically obliterated already, probably just from the practicing this week because it's been raining all week. Today was the only day really that you could get any mowing done and clean up the yard. So here we go for the second snap of the game. It's another handoff to the left-hand side of the ball. I believe it's Anthony Franklin finding some blocking, getting some yards. Going to move the chains after the tackle. He slid for, what would you say, 3 yards in the mud?
At least 3 yards. It was like a slip and slide for a little while.
Where did they spot
Anthony
the ball?
Franklin.
Because he was down and then he was like a slip and slide.
So
They're going to give him the spot.
I know those
at the end of the slide.
Those competitions of tough mudders are popular, but that's what you're going to have here tonight.
Wow. No surprise that we're running the ball tonight. Franklin again to the left-hand side. The pile is moving for a gain of a couple of yards. Going to bring up second and probably 7 or so.
So I remember when and they still have these cleats. I know they do because the professionals use them. They'll change out cleats from the longer to the shorter depending on the field conditions. You definitely need long cleats here. They used to have the ones you could screw in and out on cleats, and you could just change them like that. I had those when I was a kid.
Sure. So the boys are definitely using their standard traditional formation.
Fumble.
That ball came out.
Came
it was
loose.
A fumble. Because just miserable
Trumbull
wet
got
conditions. Trumbull celebrating, and let's see what the officiating crew has to say.
Yep.
Sure enough.
Trumbull got it. Number 44 jumped all over that, which he's not on their roster. Excellent. So I would like to give the young man a kudos, but I don't see him listed.
Yeah, so that ball was snapped, and I want to say that Koziel got his fingertips on it, but that ball just went to ground almost immediately.
Again, they're going to have trouble handling the ball tonight, no matter if it's running it, throwing it, catching it, the center exchange. It's going to be difficult.
Quarterback taking the snap from the shotgun here for the Golden Eagles. That's an interesting call. Let's see what they do. It's a run up the middle. No surprise there from the shotgun. Rambling forward for a nice gain there for their first possession. Probably 6 or 7 yards on that carry. 7 or 8.
Corey Osborne on the carry for the Golden Eagles. Matt DePonte on the tackle.
It is funny tonight, Kevin. I'm noticing that while the boys are getting their sea legs, it looks like everything's in slow motion right now compared to the normal speed and agility that we're seeing. Everyone's running a little cautiously because the conditions are just so treacherous. Another run up the middle. Early contact made by the Wolverines, number 34. So the Wolverines are trying to shut this play down. Sure enough, it's going to get whistled down. That's
about a yard short.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're close to a first down, but not quite.
So Sims was up there first.
Yeah, he did a nice
stopping
job.
the forward progress. Two carries for Corey Osborne, and already his number is blotted out. We can't even read it anymore.
Yeah. And when Sims made that hit, his feet went right out from underneath him. It was like he had better traction with his arms on the opposing jersey than he did with his feet on the ground.
I actually can see the game better on the television screen than I can.
It's a sneak. It's a quarterback keeper, and the defense shuts it down, but then he rolls to his right.
Yeah, that little last effort there that he kind of did a little spin move to his right. He got the yardage. They'll give him the first down there. So the quarterback, again, is Colton Nicholas. He's one of the captains of the Golden Eagles. He's a senior.
It was a nice finishing move he made there because the Wolverines stood strong at the line of scrimmage, and they were going to deny that first down attempt. They didn't move the chains, Kevin.
Yeah, they're saying it's fourth down.
They're saying it's fourth down.
Wow, on the television.
They did not give it to him.
On the monitor, too, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, that's a first down all the way. Wow.
They're saying he's still a yard short. They didn't move the chains. The scoreboard still says 4th and 1.
Unless they said his forward progress was stopped before he made that little spin move.
That must have been it. Interesting call there. Okay, we thought he had it, but it's 4th and going for it here with the Golden Eagles trying to convert a first down here early in the first quarter.
There you go.
And they busted through the line. Wow, what a last-minute shoestring tackle in the mud. Number 13 and number 34, yep. For the Wolverines, they're shutting that play down. That would have been 6.
Yeah. Guinari and Sims on that tackle. If they hadn't clipped his heels there at the end, he was gone.
Because they broke through the line that time, and he was going.
Yeah, that was Malik Green. He's a sophomore for the Golden Eagles.
It's almost like, as the boys get a chance to run a little bit, I saw more explosive speed coming through the line that time than I've seen in any play so far tonight. So it does look like the boys are starting to get their traction dialed in a little bit. So a big first down here for the Golden Eagles as they're trying to run the ball into the end zone in Wolverine territory here. Oh, it's a quarterback keeper, but I want to say
I think he went to hand it off.
Miscue.
Yeah, Josh, it looked like he went to hand it off to the running back, and the running back didn't take it. And so he dropped the ball. Again, it's going to be difficult to handle the ball tonight.
And so he was sacked for a loss of 5 on that play.
5-yard loss.
7.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Of course, no ball has been thrown yet tonight. Honestly, we're going to be kind of surprised if we see much throwing of the ball at all. They keep swapping the ball out as much as they can because between the coldness and the rawness of the rain, that thing has got to be almost impossible to hang on to. From the shotgun again, here come the Golden Eagles. Let's see if they get the cues right for this. It looks like the same play. Nope, he's back to throw. Looking down the middle of the field.
Down the seam.
Wow, he past the outstretched arms of his intended receiver. That was actually really well thrown.
Aiden Clark was the intended receiver there. It's tough to run, Josh, like you were saying. It's funny because in games like this, runners that do the kind of pitter-patter with their feet tend to be successful in this type of condition because they're not taking long strides, which is when you tend to slip. He was the receiver just never really got his footing and couldn't get down that seam.
Yep.
Again, quarterback should throw it to the spot, not to the receiver. If the receiver doesn't get there, then
high snap. Again, it's a short screen pass. The running back catches the ball, trying to get his feet underneath him. It's still not back to the line of scrimmage, and the Wolverines swarm all over him. And a big loss there for the Ansonia Eagles, Golden Eagles.
Looks like it's going to be about 4th and 20 here for Trumbull.
Yeah, the defense has stepped up. We had good pass coverage on that second play 2 plays ago.
They're going to punt it. It looks like they're dropping back to punt, even though they're inside Wolverine territory at the 40.
Yeah, it's 4th and 15. Interesting. So the ball's going to be snapped from the Wolverine 40, like Kevin said. And so we're going to be receiving this ball. Well, right now we're lined up. Well, we don't have any receivers back.
No one's deep.
That's interesting. They're just going to let it
thinking
bounce.
It's a potential fake here?
Probably because of the conditions. Look, the kicker just fumbled the snap, was able to kick it. It's going to go land on the right-hand side of the field.
Good balance for Trumbull.
And sure enough, they're just going to let it roll dead because if the Wolverines had touched that ball, there's a good chance it would have squirted right out. So very safe, conservative call.
17?
Yeah, we're down inside the 20. Looks like the ref's going all the way back to the. Where's he going?
I think
the 12.
No, it's 17. I think they could also going to change the down marker. It's still on 4th.
Okay. So Wolverines are going to start out their second possession of the game deep in their own territory.
Yeah, 10, 15. Okay. Yeah, I was looking on the monitor, folks. It is a 17-yard line. Again, our angle and sometimes the way the field conditions are right now, it's tough to see exactly on the hash marks.
6 minutes have come and gone, 0-0 as the Wolverines take off running, coming to the near side of the field, looking to set the edge, and then forced out of bounds is number 35 there for the Wolverines.
Thibodeau gains about a yard, maybe.
Yeah, they were trying to set the edge, and it's trying hard to set anything tonight.
Yep.
So
it's tough to cut, because you can't. Every time you try to turn up, your feet are just sliding out from underneath you. Sims was trying to lead block there to get Thibodeau the edge there, but Trumbull just kept stringing it out.
I'm looking at Matt DePonte, number 22. His numbers are almost completely gone with mud so far. Oh, and I don't know what number that is. There is one man out there with his numbers are completely obliterated by the mud. Second down for the Wolverines. Franklin to the left-hand side of the ball, having trouble getting past the line of scrimmage and sliding again after the tackle. Picked up a yard or so, maybe.
Yeah, so that's I think they lost 2 yards on that one. They're giving them look like they were a yard, 3rd and 11 here. So the ball boy trying to do the best he can with the towel, wiping the balls off.
Hard to tell the spot, too, because there are no hash marks in that part of the field. So 3rd down. Scoreboard says 3rd and 9 for the Wolverines. Here it come Koziel is going to keep it. He's got some room to run coming to the near side of the field and is able to scoot out of bounds and pick up a couple yards.
Right about the 25. So that'll bring up 4th and about 2.
They're going to have to kick. I'd be very surprised if they go for it this deep in their own territory this early in the game.
Well, the game last night, I know people were watching the NFL game, 52-21, the Steelers won. Cam Newton had one of the worst boneheaded plays you can make as a quarterback. He's in the end zone, doesn't want to get sacked for a safety, so he throws an interception and they run it back for a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness. Nice kick there by Koziel.
Yeah, not bad.
And takes a Wolverine bounce to about the 46-yard line in Golden Eagle territory. So let's take a quick break, 0-0. 4.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. It's the Wolverines versus the Golden Eagles from Trumbull. Back in just a minute. You're listening to Griswold High School football right here on Wolverine Radio. For the Golden Eagles here, their second possession of the game. Scoreless game so far. Kevin, show a little love. We missed our kickoff call.
The kickoff was brought to you by Stuart R. Norman, 19 Slater Ave, Jewett City, 860-376-0069. Attorney Stuart Norman.
The Golden Eagles pick up 4 yards on their first carry here of their second possession. The ball is spotted at midfield. Coming on out for the second down. Interestingly enough, they must have a lot of confidence in their center because the quarterback has taken all these snaps from the shotgun, and that ball is sitting in a pile of mud. But he's only taken 1 snap at the line, and that was a keeper. It's a run up the middle. Again, he's got a little bit of room through, finds a hole at the line of scrimmage.
Looks like he picked up the first down there, Josh. Contrast that with last week with Amistad from New Haven. They did the shotgun a lot too, but the snaps were all over the place last week. So this center seems to have it dialed in and is getting it right to the quarterback.
I just saw Wolverines, I thought it was number 10 that stepped up and filled the hole there at the end of that play, but it must have been number 11.
It was Van Tien.
Okay.
I can't see the center's number because the pole's in the way now. I was going to call him
58.
out because he is doing a good job.
For the Golden Eagles, 53 maybe? Nope, 56. Wow, that was a nice play there defensively by the Wolverines. Big stop there by one of our captains, Johnny Falco.
As soon as I say that, what happens on a snap?
Yeah.
So that one was botched. 50. Who'd you say was the 56?
56, I believe.
Frank Schiaffi is the center.
Did I get it right? Let's check the roster. Yeah, center, defensive tackle. Yeah.
So he's the center for
the Golden
Eagles. But they lost about 4 yards there. So second and
10 according to the scoreboard.
That's incorrect. Second and 14.
That's correct. There you go. Rain continues to come down. I know the game time temperature was just under 50 degrees or so.
Trips left here, Josh. The 3 wide receivers on the left here.
Back to throws. Thrown
he goes
to the
single
right.
receiver on the right.
And underthrown. Incomplete pass. Number 15 was the intended receiver for the Golden Eagles.
Kyle Atherton. He's a junior wide receiver for the Golden Eagles. Throw was low.
So I like that they're trying to throw the ball. I mean, it's not working out for them so far, but it's kind of cool to see that they're trying to fight through the conditions there. The Eagles are.
It's one of the things when it is raining. A lot of guys like to wear gloves nowadays when they're wide receivers. You can't when it's raining because the gloves make it impossible to catch the ball.
Same lineup as the last play. 3 wide receivers on the left-hand side, 1 on the right. Let's see if they decide to go to the left. Nope, take the same option, same play, throwing it deeper.
He caught it.
That is a completed pass for a gain of about 30 yards, bringing the ball down to the Wolverine 20-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice play. It was a fade pattern to the outside shoulder, and Nicholas put it right on the back shoulder of the wide receiver, Atherton, for a nice gain. First down inside the red zone.
Yeah, big first down here for the Eagles. Now the Wolverines stopped the Eagles the first time they got the ball down here. Kevin, I'm going to step over here so you can see the screen and I can see the end zone. So first down for the Golden Eagles. First time they were in this ballpark. The Wolverines were able to shut down the drive. Let's see what happens here. Time of possession definitely favoring the Eagles so far in this game. It's a run up the middle, has some daylight and some blocking, able to pick up a few yards. And let's see, the jersey is completely obliterated. I want to say that it's Sims that stepped up and blocked the hole, but no jersey number apparent at all.
That's about a 7-yard
Nope,
gain
it was
there.
Anthony Franklin. Anthony Franklin actually got in on that play defensively. You can just see the outline of the number 1 on his chest. On his back is completely invisible, covered in mud. Second snap here for the drive. It's a keeper, number 5, holding on to the
Touchdown.
ball. Plenty of room to run. He's hit, but he's in the end zone. Boy, that mystified our defense. They didn't even see it.
That was the parting of the Red Sea right there.
Didn't
There
even
was
see it.
nobody in the middle.
They bought that fake handoff, didn't even see it. He ran in, and he was hit right as he went in. But 6 points for the Golden Eagles here in the final few minutes of the first quarter of play. The ball getting swapped out yet again for the extra point attempt. Looks like they're going to go for 1.
They are. That surprises me. I thought they would go for 2. Kicking can be tricky, too. If you plant your foot and you go flying, ball's obviously not going to go very far.
Let's see. Number 12 is the kicker here for the extra point attempt.
Ryan Cranston. He's a senior.
He plants okay, but that
Blocked.
ball was blocked by the Wolverines.
Cozio got his hand on that one.
Wow, good job there by Andrew Koziel to block the extra point attempt. 6-0 is the score here with about a minute remaining in the first quarter. So far, I mean, obviously there's what you would expect to see with the traction and the hard time, but we've seen other games where the conditions were favorable and we've seen more turnovers than we've seen tonight. So the boys seem to be adapting to the conditions well. They're just owning the mud and the rain and the cold, and the Golden Eagles were the first to get on the board, and they were able. Kevin, is so fascinating to me, high school football. They got on the board because of a completed pass. You know, the first time they ran the ball, it had a couple of incomplete passes, and were not able to get in the end zone, and then they had a big 30-yard completion, which really helped them out there, and the quarterback driving it in there to make it 6-0. As the Eagles are back to kick the ball here for the third possession of the first quarter for the Wolverines.
And this kickoff being brought to you by Stuart R. Norman, 19 Slater Ave, Jewett City, 860-376-0069. Attorney Stuart R. Norman.
That was a line drive kick that never got more than 2 inches off the ground. That was fielded very nicely by the Wolverines and then covered up, and just no attempt to run back was made at all. Ball's going to be spotted in Wolverine territory on their own 35-yard line. So all things considered, relatively good field position here for the Wolverines.
They do. Let's see if maybe we try to attempt to throw here to change things up a little bit. That Trumbull has tried to throw it 3 times. They completed 1 pass, and it was a perfect pass by Nicholas on that big play for that drive.
Michael Sims in motion in the backfield. Sure enough, he gets the ball. It's a run up the middle, but the Eagles are all over that. He may have made it back to the line of scrimmage. He might have actually lost a yard there.
I think they let him. I think they're giving him back to the line of scrimmage. Second down. And the ball's right in the middle of the field where all the mud is. Just for footing's sake, I'm wondering if they'll try an outside run here so they can get the ball on one of the hash marks.
This time it's Franklin in motion. It's a fake to Franklin and an option to throw. Koziel delivers a pass.
Open. Oh, he was open.
Open and almost intercepted. Chris Thibodeau was the intended receiver, not able to bring the ball down.
If Koziel had gotten rid of that ball a split second sooner, he was open. He did have him because he had gotten by the defensive back. But the defensive back was able to catch up once the ball was in the air, Malik Green broke that pass up for the Golden Eagles.
3rd and 10 with 22 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. 6-0. The Golden Eagles have taken a 6-point lead after a extra point was blocked by our quarterback, Andrew Koziel. Big 3rd down here for the Wolverines regarding this first quarter of play. Chris Thibodeau in motion again. Fakes to Thibodeau under pressure. Koziel delivers the ball. That's an incomplete pass. Number 7, Jack Neves Carr, was the intended receiver. So it's going to bring up another punt situation here for the Wolverines as the final seconds of the first quarter are going to tick away here. Probably have one more play, and then we're going to turn the field around.
Yeah, Koziel had a lot of pressure right in his face there on that.
That was the first time tonight that they really got in as soon as the ball was snapped, and he got the ball away, but
it's a little high.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good play, and I think it would have worked out well for us. I'm glad to see the Wolverines are throwing. It's gutsy. It's cool. Nice kick there, again, by the Wolverines, coming down inside the 35, 40-yard line. And the ball is picked up by the Wolverines. And so 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. We'll have time for one snap here as the Eagles come on back out. So they're going to end up with 4 possessions in the first quarter, and they probably owned about 8 of the 12 minutes.
At least, yeah, I would say for sure. Going to have it on their own 42 as well, so it's pretty good field position.
Mm-hmm. Koziel doing a nice job tonight with the punt. So,
yeah, I think punting tonight, the receivers are probably not even going to attempt to catch it with the conditions.
Kevin, it's amazing to me. We've got a pretty good crowd, being so miserable outside. Everyone's underneath umbrellas, of course, but pretty good showing here on senior night at Griswold High School. Hopefully you're able to watch us online tonight if you can't make it. And, wow, what a big block there by the quarterback trying to make something happen there for that run up the middle. But that's stuff for a loss. Boy, number 5, the quarterback, really put a nice block there.
So that was a slow developing handoff, Josh.
Yeah.
When Carr came in, he thought the quarterback still had the ball, so he tackled the quarterback, but he had actually handed it off. Looks like they gave him a yard.
So we're going to take a quick break as we turn the field around here. It's a mud fest here at 201 Slater Avenue. Second quarter is going to begin in about just a minute. You're listening to continuing live coverage of the high school Wolverines versus the Trumbull Golden Eagles. 6-0. The boys are behind. Back with more in just a minute right here on Wolverine Radio.
and order your Thanksgiving Day football T-shirt that says what side are you on? It'll be the Wolverines or the Panthers. Each shirt sold earns money for the winning team on Thanksgiving.
Possession for the Golden Eagles. 6-0 is the score here on senior night. The Golden Eagles have a 1-touchdown lead over the Wolverines. Taking the snap from the shotgun, quarterback's going to hang on to that ball and try and plow his way forward. The play takes a little while to develop and to complete. He picked up a couple of yards there. It is muddy.
It's going to be about 3rd and 6. And they gave him more than a couple.
He's a physical player, this quarterback.
He looks like he's good size. Like I said, when they came out for the coin toss, he was certainly taller than everybody else.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the second quarter, the game is developing. Well, actually, I have to say I am surprised. We're seeing a lot more passing attempts than I thought we would see tonight, which is really kind of cool. The Wolverines and the Golden Eagles trying to throw the ball here. Of course, the Golden Eagles are taking just about every snap from the shotgun, but most of the plays are run plays. Little confusion here as the Eagles are taking a little extra time at the line trying to sort the play out.
Running back move from the right to the left. You got 3 receivers on the right. I think somebody's taking a timeout here. Or no, delay of game.
I was going to say, delay of game.
Yep. Delay a game.
First penalty of the night goes against the Golden Eagles for delay of game. There must have been some miscommunication as the boys were just frozen there at the line waiting for the snap call.
Obviously, the running back wasn't on the correct side, so the quarterback had to switch him from the right to the left, and that extra few seconds took up the clock. So now it'll be 3rd and 9.
What was the game I saw this past Sunday where the center was snapping the ball all over the place? Did you see that game?
Yeah, well, our game last week was that way too.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
It was an NFL game where the center
was
just
having trouble?
out of control, snapping the ball all over the place. It was the Packers and the
Patriots?
Patriots, I think. Maybe it was another game. Someone can Facebook me if I'm wrong, but it was unbelievable. We're seeing a lot better snapping here tonight in a lot worse conditions. Back to throw is number 5.
Deep down the left side.
He has his receiver wide open who misses the catch.
He was out of bounds, Josh. Even if he had caught it, it wouldn't have been complete. He was a couple yards out of bounds.
Number 21 there for the Wolverines, providing good pass protection.
Shy Cow on the coverage there. They're going to punt it away here.
4th and 9. They're still in their own territory, so that drive, which was their 4th possession of the game, didn't amount to much yardage here for the Golden Eagles. We were wondering if the conditions were going to be the great equalizer between these two teams. Of course, the Golden Eagles from Double L, they're in a bigger, in every way, category than our Wolverines. And so far, I'd have to say, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, conditions like this, it's always going to affect the game and the play. You just never know what's going to happen.
So that punt went a little bit short because as the kicker went to plant, his foot slipped out. So the Wolverines are going to take over on their own 40-yard line. Again, good field position for the Wolverines as the offense comes on out.
This game being brought to you by Dean's Corner Diner, corner of Ashland and Maine. For breakfast and lunch, go to Dean's. Have the little man's for breakfast. It's my favorite.
I had a cup of coffee there this week with a friend. He had the pancakes. They looked amazing. They were fluffy. What's the deal with the T-shirts going on here for Thanksgiving?
It's the show your colors on Thanksgiving. Each shirt sold earns money for the winning team on Thanksgiving. So what side are you on? SquareUp.com/store/Wolverine-media.
That's cool. Chris Thibodeau runs
Flag.
to the right, but the play is whistled dead. I didn't see anything
False start.
obvious, but it must have been a false start, yeah. 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter of play. The second quarter is just underway here. 6-0. So it's a
No,
low
it was
scoring
actually
game.
offsides on the Golden Eagles.
Oh, sure enough.
So 1st and 5 for the Wolverines.
We'll take it. On that play, Thibodeau is trying to seal the corner on the right-hand side, trying to get around the end. We haven't seen that play develop so far yet tonight. It seems to be a work in progress. But again, it's got to be challenging to set anything out there with the footing being what it is. They are to the right of the most of the mud. Let's see if they run. Sure enough, they run right up the middle. Wow, that was a nice
Looks like it's
effort
gonna be a
there.
first down.
That was Sims, I believe.
First down of the night. That was Sims.
That was a really nice. He just didn't stop moving his legs and just right up the gut.
That might have to be the game plan at this point. Try to run between the tackles. Get somebody like Sims with a little bit of drive and size.
That's what we saw. I think it was the game that we covered out at Capitol Prep, and it was Scott and I, Fryer, Sims just driving the ball up the middle. I mean, that was the whole fourth quarter, just driving the ball up the middle. Sims was like, hey, can I get a drink of water? Coach was like, no, you're driving the ball up the middle. And he did a great job that game. He can definitely move the ball. Well, the second down there didn't.
That was
yield
Farwell.
much. Yeah.
Josh, we saw him a little bit last week get a lot of playing time in the second half and did a great job. Had 2 scores. He's a freshman. Give him back to the line of scrimmage, I
give
guess.
him a scooch if that. Yeah. It's going to bring up, I believe, 3rd and 10. Nope, 2nd and 10 from midfield here for the Wolverines. In the mud. It's a fake to Thibodeau. Back to throw is Koziel under pressure, running to his left-hand side. Takes a big hit at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to get brought down at midfield. Just not able to get around the edge, didn't have the blocking that he needed. He was looking downfield, and I don't know who he was looking for, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, he lost about a yard there. So he had Thibodeau in the pattern on the left, and I think Franklin on the right, and neither one of them are open. So he tucked it and tried to make something out of it, but they gang tackled him.
Yeah, they took a yard away on that one, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 11, although the spot looks the same to me. But, again, there are no hash tags. There are no hash marks out in that field, not in the middle of it anymore. It's a couple inches of mud. It's a fake handoff again, back to throw, rolling to his right. He takes a hit, gets the ball away. Oh, man, he hits our intended receiver right in the numbers, not able to hold on to it. It was Thibodeau.
Thibodeau, yep. Just as it hit his hands, the defensive back from the Golden Eagles, number 22, Daniel Argenis, he's a senior. He batted it right out of his hand.
So that's going to bring up 4th and too much here for the Wolverines, 4th and 11. So we'll be back to punt again here. That's it's got to be hard to catch a ball tonight. It was beautifully thrown, though. I mean, right in the numbers. It was. I think on a normal night that would have been a completion for 15 yards for sure. So I love the aggressive play calling. I love the attempts that are being made here to move the ball down the field. High snap here, but another punt here by Koziel, which is caught this time. What a nice job there by the Wolverines, number 13, defensively, just stopping that run back, Nicholas Guarneri.
That was a nice tackle.
It sure was.
The Golden Eagles player made a nice catch there. He, on the run, caught the punt at about the 32, and then Guarneri just pounded him 3 yards into the run.
It was great.
To bring him down at the 35.
Golden Eagles hold on to a 6-point lead as they come up on their 5th possession of the game. 4 minutes have expired out of the second quarter. Golden Eagles are going to take over on downs at their own 35-yard line. The boys have no clean spots on their jerseys to wipe the mud off their hands. It's just a pointless, fruitless gesture at this point. The only thing that's even a little bit clean is their helmets, and I think that's because of the rain.
It's a fire hose night.
Off to the big throw. His receiver.
Fluttered.
Incomplete pass is a long story short there, but Kevin and I both saw the same thing, which was that receiver was wide open. It was underthrown and almost intercepted.
That ball fluttered in the air. So that was a nice play by Strain there.
Because honestly, that was so close to an interception because the ball was just underthrown. Because Strain was behind a good step and a half, and that could have been trouble for the Wolverines. But that's really the first flubbed pass that we've seen tonight from number 5 here,
Nicholas.
Colton Nicholas, all the way up from the Trumbull area. Low snap in the mud. This is going to be trouble. The quarterback picks it up and runs with it. Breaks his first tackle at the line of scrimmage. He's got a nice run going here.
Past midfield.
Wolverines are having a hard time just like getting a hold of him because I think he's covered in mud. And so what was a botched play that should have resulted in a loss of 5 was a first down and a gain of
almost 20.
I was going to say
19
almost 20 yards.
Yeah.
Wow. So we have an update here from Killingly and NFA.
Killingly no score at the half against NFA.
Wow, that's
so the conditions are also inhibiting their ability to play.
When I left tonight to come down here, it was just miserable. And that field is miserable on a good day. It's never been. The field they
had a whole bunch of issues early in the season with the grubs.
Yeah. And they can't use chemicals to kill them, so I guess they got to talk about their feelings to convince the grubs to leave or something. I don't know, but it didn't work. So that field must be a mess too. Wow, this play was stopped in the backfield. And again, because the tackler, as soon as you make contact tonight, what I'm seeing, Kevin, is your arms have better traction than your feet. And as soon as your arms wrap around the other guy, your feet go out from underneath you. And so the runners are actually able to gain a couple of yards after contact because they still have their feet on the ground.
Yeah, and you wind up getting a yard out of something that should have been a couple yards lost.
And it's easier to pull the defender in the mud. There's less friction.
Yeah.
And so these guys it's hard to tackle tonight. Picked up a yard on that play, and it should have been a loss of a couple of yards. But, again, when you drag the defender through the mud because he just slides through it, you have to have a second hit to stop the play.
Little wishbone here.
From the line of scrimmage, the quarterback takes the snap, hands off to number 21, who picks up a yard or two before being brought down. Let's see, that was number 10. Yeah.
Yep.
Except I don't think
Kobe
we have a number.
Van Tine.
I'm sorry, number 18. Number 18.
Number 18. Oh, Patrick Strain.
Yep.
I thought maybe it was Van Tine over there again. Yeah, it's a 21. That was a nice by Malik Green.
Yeah, he picked up about 5 yards there.
Definitely has some speed to get to the outside. He's done it a couple times tonight.
You got to wonder what the difference is in the traction from the middle of the field to the outside of the field where there's still grass and it's like some paint and stuff.
Some. It's fading.
Yeah.
That's all fading, too.
Yeah.
The mud is spreading.
Half of the second quarter has already flown by. The score remains 6-0 as the boys. It is a mud fest. Kevin, this is the muddiest game we've ever seen. Back to throw are the Eagles. Finds his receiver. Good catch. Forced out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. So let's see. That's going to move the chains for the Golden Eagles.
That's Atherton again. Another good reception here by Atherton. He was the one that had the 30-yarder, the fade pattern that they threw that set up their touchdown.
I'm trying to think. So far, he's the only one that's caught a ball tonight, and he's caught a ball twice.
That's correct.
So Thibodeau has come up short a couple of times. I don't think Franklin has been an intended receiver tonight. He's run the ball, and he's stepped up defensively, but I don't think he's been targeted yet by Koziel. Well, so one guy's learned the trick of catching this muddy, slippery, hot mess of a football. Another keeper here by a very physical quarterback, but boy, I'll tell you what.
Couldn't tell you who it is, but it was a nice play. That was Sims?
Yeah, that was Sims. He really stepped up and stopped that play cold.
The quarterback has had a lot of success with that run up the middle. He's gained probably about, let's see, the touchdown was 11. That one was 19. He's gained more than 30 yards on his runs. So
it's like Gronk is your quarterback. I mean, that's kind of what this guy looks like.
Plainfield 6, Wyndham nothing. And is that a final, Mike? This is the final. They must have started early today.
Oh, because of the rain.
Maybe. They probably kicked off at 4.
Yeah.
So Plainfield 6, Wyndham 0.
2nd and 10 here for the Golden Eagles after a nice defensive effort here by the Wolverines. It looks like
timeout here.
Called a timeout. So
by the Trumbull.
We'll take a quick break and be back for the last 4 minutes of the second quarter. 6-0. The Eagles hang on to a narrow lead here at 201 Slater Ave. You're listening to Griswold High School football right here on Wolverine Radio. In the second quarter, 6-0. The Eagles have the lead. Big completed pass. That's going to make it 12-0. Number 22 with the touchdown there.
Daniel
Argenis. The Golden Eagles. That was a completion from the 30-yard line. It was a 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line, but Kevin, they made that look easy.
So that's another 30-yard pass play.
He was wide open.
That Trumbull completes there. So they've got, in this first half, they've got more than 100 yards in the air.
In the air. And
which we didn't think would happen.
We did not see that coming. No.
Because of the conditions.
Here's a replay of that touchdown, or actually I think I might have just missed the replay, but Kyle just showed you a replay there on YouTube of the touchdown there. Another 30-yard completion by the Golden Eagles. Let's see if they're going to set up for – they're setting up for 2, Kevin.
Going for 2.
So 12-0 is the score right now. Of course, in high school football, we say 2 scores is a tie. Things change so quickly, but –
not in these conditions.
The Eagles have definitely learned how to just a throw strike right over the middle, and it's worked very well for them twice tonight. Looking to throw another strike.
It's good.
Are the Eagles. That'll give them 2 points in the end zone there.
Cannot see the number on the receiver there, Josh.
No. Even with the binoculars, there's just nothing to look at there but mud. What's funny is the Golden Eagles are gold on top and black below, and, of course, the Wolverines are green on top and black below. And honestly, when they're out there together and they all have white helmets, we're having a hard time telling who's on what team because they're so covered in mud tonight. 14-0, the Eagles are taking the lead here. And bottom line, Kevin, it's a pass over the middle, and that one was relatively uncontested. Again, a lot of the plays tonight are almost looking like they're being run in slow motion just because of the traction issues. But a well-executed play. This quarterback from Trumbull is a very talented young man.
Nicholas,
We've really only seen one botched throw by him tonight, and we're seeing a lot more throws than we ever anticipated, and it's working. Now, of course, the Wolverines have attempted a few throws, but have yet to make a completed pass. We'll see
this
what
kickoff
happens
being
here.
brought to you by Attorney Stuart R. Norman, 19 Slater Ave, Jewett City, 860-376-0069.
Thank you for that mention, Kevin. Here we go from the 40. It's the Eagles kicking the ball off. It's a low line drive, sliding through the mud. Picked up by the Wolverines, spinning his feet like a Fred Flintstone episode.
He's got a
Breaks
lane.
the tackle.
He's got a
And
lane.
he's got some room to run as the Golden Eagles are finally able to stop. What a great return down inside the 40-yard line in Eagle territory.
Is that Franklin?
I believe so.
Nice return by Franklin.
That was Franklin. Yep.
He had a seam there. He had a lane, and he hit it. Good. That was a saving tackle there
It sure was.
by Malik Green out of Trumbull.
Boy, Franklin, when he
So
caught
where did he pick
ball,
that up? Inside there, 30. He got it all the way down to the 35.
Yeah,
so
what
that's
a nice
it's
run.
about a 35-yard return.
I mean, he spun out trying to get his feet underneath him, but once he did, he's a very fast young man. Nice run there by Anthony Franklin. Got a couple good blocks right when the two teams met up around midfield. And I believe it's Franklin again with, look at this run up the middle. Look at the blocking. Nice effort there by the Wolverines. What a nice opening run of this drive. Yep, Franklin again. Mom, you got some laundry to do.
It's got about 7 yards on that, so it's going to be up second and short.
Nice pickup. Is this the best field position of the night for the Wolverines?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the first time they've been inside the 30, I believe.
I think you're right. Yep. So second and short, 2nd and 3. Lots of options here for the offense. We haven't seen Koziel take any snaps from the shotgun so far tonight, but he throws from the shotgun or the line. It's a run up the middle, and boy, Kevin,
First
I think
down.
we're going to move the chains. Yep.
First down, I believe it's their second first down of the night.
I want to say that was Michael Sims, but honestly, there's no number discernible whatsoever. I'm just looking at the boy. Yep, it was. Look at that. Michael Sims.
Just inside the 25. See if they can get into the red zone for the first time tonight.
So 1st and 10 here. We've only converted one other first down, I think, tonight.
That's correct. It's the second one.
I'm going to swap with you again so I can get a perspective of that side of the field, and you can see the screen. Here comes Koziel and crew.
Sims again, it looks like.
Yep, right up the middle. That play was stopped short there.
Gain of a couple. Yeah, we got about a yard or two on that. Josh, this game being brought to you by Goodwin Family Dentistry, 25 East Main Street, Jewett City, 860-376-4483. Modern dentistry, old-fashioned values. All right, see what they do here, Josh. Be interested to see if they might want to try to just take a chance and throw
To the near side of the field here.
the ball. Maybe even take a shot at the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Nope. It's a handoff, and
fumble.
it's recovered by the Eagles. Koziel handed the ball off, and I believe the handoff,
I think it was Franklin.
Might have been Franklin, but Franklin never really had the ball.
Yeah, you can see there. It's basically when Koziel turn around, you can see in the replay that Kyle just ran.
Yep.
It's almost like Franklin ran into him and didn't even have the ball, and the ball just fell to the ground right at the feet of one of the Golden Eagles players.
And I could see Koziel, when he saw what happened, he's looking at his hands and just shaking his head. You know, the boys literally have no clean place on their jerseys or their trousers to wipe their hands. So got to be very frustrating for Koziel. That was definitely a conditional failure there because of the mud. Well, that was an interesting, almost going to be a quarterback keeper there as the Eagles take over on downs, but it's almost like we see Koziel do. It's like the option with teeth where the quarterback almost takes the ball back, but he did, in fact, hand it off, but no significant yards on that play.
That was interesting. Guarnari came in there at the end and kind of shoved one of the Trumbull players, and I think the referee said something to him as he was walking back on defense.
Well, it's only a two-score game. The defense has been doing a good job tonight. Obviously, they need to be paying very close attention to that 15, 20-yard option right over the middle, which seems to be working. It's responsible for both of the touchdowns tonight. So
3 receivers to the left.
we've seen this before. That almost guarantees they're going to go to the right. Hands the ball off. That play was broken up in the backfield. Number 56, one of our captains. What a great defensive effort there.
Corey Carr, first man on the spot. That's a loss of about 3 yards.
Oh, yeah, all day long.
Nice play there.
So let's see. It's going to bring up third and, 12 or 13 or so?
Somebody's taking a timeout here, Josh.
Okay. Let's take a quick break. It's going to be a big down for the Eagles. 14. I can't see the scoreboard.
14-0.
14-0. That's what I thought. Here at Wolverines, you're listening to the Wolverines versus the Golden Eagles from Trumbull right here on Wolverine Radio. Senior night here, and a muddy and a cold and a raw and a rainy one. The fans here have come out tonight to honor the seniors, and they're all huddled underneath umbrellas. 14-0 is the score. The Golden Eagles have gone on top with 2 big completed passes, each one a 30-yard gain that put them in the end zone with a 2-point conversion after a blocked 1-point conversion in the first quarter by our quarterback, Andrew Koziel. The Eagles have the ball right now down around their own 20 to 25-yard line. Throwing the ball short, screen pass, and that was incomplete.
Was it intercepted?
And the Wolverines are trying to make the case that they intercepted it, but nope, it's saying
Ball
fourth
hit the
down
ground.
here for the Eagles. So the Eagles are going to have to punt, and sure enough, here comes
Wolverines should
the
get good field position back here. With only a minute to go, they have 2 timeouts left. So they might be able to take advantage of it and get on the scoreboard before the end of the half.
We have seen some, when boys get injured on an AstroTurf field or on a turf field, we call it the turf monster. But tonight I don't know what we call this. But
the mud monster?
The mud monster.
The mud bog?
Definitely contributed to the changeover of possession during our last possession. Let's see if we can hang on to the ball better this time. Halfway decent punt, taking a Golden Eagle bounce. The Wolverines are going to let it stop right around midfield. I believe they're going to take over on downs on their own 49-yard line.
Just on their side of midfield. So, again, still not terrible field position. They do only have 49 seconds to go. 2 timeouts.
I would like to see a pass to the left-hand side of the ball where the grass is still halfway decent.
Well, they're going to throw it, Josh, because Chaikow's coming in.
Okay, good.
So you can see that
Yep.
as he's substituting in. You can actually read his number.
Yeah,
so he obviously hasn't been in the game very much.
Had a whole lot of contact so far tonight. I'd like to see him throw across the field because right now the game has been so focused on the middle of the field because of the necessity to run the ball that I really think they'll have an option.
First time Koziel's in the shotgun too, Josh.
Yep, he is in the shotgun. There's 2 receivers on the right-hand
Calling
side of the
a
ball.
timeout already?
Call a timeout, yep.
Oh, jeez. You hate to see that. You're wasting a timeout before you even make a snap. So now you're down to 1 timeout left with 49 seconds to go.
Yeah, there's a little confusion. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back for the conclusion of the second quarter as we go into halftime here at Griswold High School. Wolverines versus the Eagles, 14-zip. We're behind, but we're going to fix that here in just a moment on Wolverine Radio. quarter of play here. It's the Wolverines versus the Trumbull Golden Eagles. The Eagles are on top of the Wolverines 14-0. It's a mud fest here on senior night. Ball currently spotted at the 49-yard line in Wolverine territory. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. Looking to get the ball in the end zone before they go to the half here. Koziel from the shotgun takes the snap, looking to his right. He has 2 receivers to choose from. The ball was underthrown, and the receiver lost his feet. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, that was thrown short, Josh. When the receiver tried to stop and come back, completely lost his footing. His feet went right out from underneath him.
It wasn't Chaikow because the jersey's too muddy. I want to say it's number...
I'm trying to...
Oh, it's Sims, 34.
Sims is okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I squint through my binoculars, I can just see the outline of what used to be his number.
2 receivers on each side, 1 wide, 1 in the slot.
From the shotgun again, Koziel looking down the middle. He's got his man, hits him in the numbers, and that ball is intercepted by the Eagles. He has a lane to the right. Wolverine scrambling to defend there. Nice job by number 9 ending that play, and he is hurt. Koziel puts a big tackle on the intercepted play and clutching his left leg. He's back up, but it almost looked like he cramped up there. He's walking it off, so he's saying he's all right.
So did you happen to see who that was the pass was intended for? I couldn't either.
By the jump, I want to say it was Thibodeau.
So that he should have had that. The ball was right to him and went right through his hands, off his shoulder pad, into the arms of the Golden Eagles, who then returned it for about 30 yards.
Yeah.
Coming back the other way.
Yeah, hard to say who the intended receiver was. We're just kind of judging by the athleticism and how they handle themselves because the jerseys are completely obliterated. So hard to say who that was, but that ball was delivered right to the numbers. Koziel, of course, making the stop defensively. A little shaken up on the play, but still in the game. As the Eagles have a chance here with 25 seconds.
Throwing it down the seam.
Again. Heavy coverage intercepted by the Wolverines. Chaikow comes up big, running to the right-hand side of the field. He's taken off. And a big stop there, saving a touchdown by the Golden Eagles. But that was a 50-yard run back on an interception by Dylan Chaikow.
Here's the replay here. Kyle's going to run it back for us. And what you see here is Chaikow's kind of playing center field there. And they try to go down the seam. There's a little too much air under the pass, and Chaikow picks it off to run it back. He had a nice lane up the sideline. And there was one player that comes up here. You'll see he's going to try to force him out of bounds. He tries to cut back, and he's tackled from behind.
That was a great replay. Thanks, Kyle. That's really helpful tonight.
So 2 consecutive possessions, both interceptions, and basically the Wolverines had the ball back where they were.
That's correct.
on the 40-yard line of the Golden Eagles. They still have 1 timeout left, but only 13 seconds here.
1st and 10 for the Wolverines from the Eagle 40-yard line. High snap, big problems. Koziel back to pick it up. Dodges 1 tackle, runs out of bounds, and that's a loss of at least 10 yards on that play. And there's 5 seconds left in the quarter.
So you'll have a situation here where one more play, they'll probably just chuck it to the end zone or take the victory formation.
Go for Doug Flutie. What are you going to do?
Doug Flutie to Gerard Phelan against Miami, 1984.
That's what I would do. You're down by 14 at the half.
BC has a big game this weekend. They're hosting Clemson, number 2 team in the country. Yeah, they're going for the victory formation.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to kneel down.
Taking a conservative call here. The boys are going to come to the sideline and drip dry a little bit here at halftime. So 14-0, the Eagles are able to score on 2 30-yard completions in the air, resulting in 14 points. So it's halftime here on senior night. It's a good night to watch the game on YouTube. Just go to the Wolverine Facebook page and click on the link, and you can find the game with the instant replays of our home coverage here of senior night. 14-0, the Eagles on top of the Wolverines. Back with the second half after halftime. You're listening to Griswold High School football right here on Wolverine Radio.
Evening, everybody. Went to a commercial. What the heck? Evening, everybody. Welcome back to Griswold High School here at Wolverine Stadium, where the Trumbull Golden Eagles lead the Griswold Wolverines at halftime, 14-0 at Mud Bowl 2018. The field is an absolute mess. You can't really say anything else. If this wasn't the last home game of the year, this game would have been canceled because this field is absolutely destroyed from, I'm going to say, from the 30-yard line to the 20-yard line on the other side. Pretty much right down the middle. It's nothing but a big mud bowl. And, yeah, like I said, if this wasn't the last home game of the year, then I would have to think that this game would have been canceled. So, anyway, 14-0 is your score. We are at halftime here. This is the first time that the Wolverines have ever played the Trumbull Golden Eagles out of Trumbull. They're a double L school, and it's one of those games that it's just sloppy, muddy, yucky, but that's football for you. And that's what it should be, and that's pretty much an equalizer, as KT was saying in the first half. Joining me in the Griswold Pride broadcast booth right now, oh my goodness, Sean Anderson, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. A lot better than the team is right now. I mean, it's just so, like, the conditions are just awful out there. It really is. You were saying it. And really the big difference in this game was those two passing plays that the Golden Eagles had. Passing play in the first quarter that didn't go for a touchdown.
Yep.
It went for 30 yards. And then the touchdown pass, and it was just wide open. It was just a miscoverage, miscommunication on defense. And really, that's the big difference maker right now.
That's really it. And I think the big difference maker is the mud.
Yes.
Mud Bowl 2018.
It's making it really difficult to run the football. You can't run pretty much anywhere unless you get into the red zone, which I think neither team has done. They've either the Golden Eagles have scored beyond the red zone, and either end zone is red zone. Is pretty much not that muddy.
You know, Sean, and it's amazing. You actually sound better calling football than I do, which is good because I'm awful at calling football. Thank God for KT and Josh. And you come up into the broadcast booth with zero preparation, and you're making it sound like you've been doing this for 30 years.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I appreciate the kind words, but it's good to be back up here.
Yeah, and you know what? And we'll spill the beans that we are going to be carrying not just Griswold, we're also going to be carrying NFA.
Yes.
And we're going to start with carrying some NFA basketball games this year. We have 9 games on the schedule. We put everything together, and I spoke to the interim athletic director at NFA today. And the Wildcats are going to be on not just Wolverine. Well, Wolverine Radio is going to take a back seat.
I've heard about that.
And
you changed the name. What is it, to SNSN? Sean's Network for Sports
Sports
News,
and
right?
News.
That was very nice of you to do that.
Well, I wanted you back. So I figured
that was one of the conditions was you would name the station after me, which I thank you kindly for.
That's right. Sean's, what is it? What'd you call it now?
Sean's Network for Sports News.
There you go. That actually makes sense.
Yes.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
But anyways, you're going to be doing some basketball with us.
Yeah, and
so.
I guess you and I and KT and I are going to get to know each other pretty well.
You guys did a couple of games last year, didn't you?
Yes.
You worked a lot with Sean Sass.
Yes, Sass and I worked together a little bit. I think we're going to do 1 or 2 games together, I think. Or
Yeah. Well, Sass, due to his schedule,
Yes.
he can only do Fridays. So whatever games that we have on Fridays, he'll be there.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's going to be myself and you and me, you and KT, and then we also got to throw in Scott Fryer into the mix too.
Yes.
Now Scott Fryer is he's an assistant coach for NFA lacrosse, so he'll definitely be a benefit in the broadcast booth as well. So. What do you want to do? You want to do play-by-play? You want to do color?
Whatever's needed. I guess play-by-play works, but
You're good at play. You and Sass were a good team.
yes, I thought
you guys
we
blended
bounced.
well.
Yeah, I thought we bounced off of each other pretty well.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Mr. Anderson, talk some more football, and we have some scores that we can update you on. We're still at halftime. The Golden Eagles of Trumbull, they are up on the Wolverines 14-0. You are listening to Wolverines football on Wolverine Radio, but soon to be SNSN. Welcome back to Wolverine Stadium here at Griswold High School. Mike Minarski and Sean Anderson on the halftime broadcast. The Trumbull Golden Eagles up 14-0 on the Griswold Wolverines. Well, you know what? Really, nobody's moving the ball that well, Sean.
No, nobody's moving the ball well at all, especially when they get to midfield. Midfield at the 50 is just a complete mess, and just saying it's a mess doesn't do it justice. It is completely trashed, pretty much from the 25-yard line. It's just a mess, and nobody can move the ball. You can't run the ball. You have to you have to try to throw the ball to the outside, and of course you can't grip the ball that well.
No.
And we've seen a couple of times.
Seeing the quarterback on both sides heave
Yes.
the ball.
Right, yeah, they just loft it up there and
Yeah.
hope and pray for the best. It's definitely interesting to watch, and the ball does somersaults through the air.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times where both teams have had a player wide open, and they've underthrown the ball because the ball is so wet, and it's hard to get that spiral and get it a good
Yeah,
enough
and the
distance.
intended receiver ends up trying to take a step or two back, and then they end up slipping and
Right.
falling. We've seen that, I think, on both sides. And the rain is picking up now.
Yes.
It is picking up, so it's going to be an extra sloppy second half.
It should be interesting. They were saying the weather was supposed to pick up by now,
Yeah.
and it hopefully they can get the whole game in. If it thunders and lightnings, what happens? Do they call it? Do they wouldn't come back tomorrow to play 2 quarters, right?
No,
If it gets
especially with
long
Trumbull being over an hour away.
enough? Right.
What happens is I think it's 20 or 30 minutes. If they see a lightning strike, then the players get pulled off of the field. We had a situation like that last year too, where there was a lightning strike, and it was just 5 minutes before the players were going to go ahead and take.
Yeah.
You were here, I think.
I don't remember if I was here for that.
I think you were around because I think you looked at me and we both looked like drowned rats, and I think you. I could have sworn you were here, but anyway.
I remember my first game. I don't think I was there for that one. My first game, it was like awful. It goes like a first game would go.
Right.
It was freezing and.
You were freezing down the sidelines.
My
my
hand
goodness.
was numb and I couldn't put my mic on. You're like telling me to put the mic on, like
I can't. My hands are frozen.
I can't. My hands are frozen. And then I finally like put it on and I'm like, it's on. We're good. And,
Getting back to that game, 5 minutes before that the teams were going to go back on the field.
Yeah.
There was another lightning strike, so then they just called it.
Yeah, I did.
At that point, then we all went out to dinner. It was great.
Oh,
So.
I wasn't there for that. That would have been nice.
Why didn't you go? You should have come with us. All right, let's take a look at some scores. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of breeze through and see what I can find here. Let's see here. Plainfield. Well, they played earlier today. They had an early start because they knew, but that the weather was coming in. But then again, I think Griswold knew it's senior night, and they weren't gonna do anything. But they beat Wyndham by the score of 6-0. So
speaking of Plainfield, Kyle Holt won ECC Player of the Week this week.
Yep.
For Plainfield, so congrats to him.
E-Dog, you know E-Dog.
I do know E-Dog.
Somehow, you do, and he came in third.
Yeah, he had a great week last week. That was a lot of fun to watch him. Definitely. I watched him on YouTube.
Yep.
So that was great. Thank you for doing that. That's just great. I watched the first half on YouTube, and then I came because he was doing so well. So I rushed down here, and I watched him kick the final PAT that he had.
Yeah, he had a great game.
You know what he did? He was studying his film and what was wrong with when he would miss the kicks, and he realized that he just had to move one step over, or have the ball moved 1 yard over. And that was really the game changer for him. And it was just this little fix that he had to do. And he made 6 out of 7. I know they had 7 out of 7 last week.
Right.
But it was good for him.
A
good team win.
Yeah, it was. All right, let's check some scores. Let's see. Waterford, they played yesterday. They defeated Montville by the score of 37-19. Not really even close. Killingly and NFA. Now that is a game. It's 6-6.
Oh, that's a close game.
Yeah, and NFA finally. Well, actually, Killingly scored first. It was 6-0, but they didn't score until the third quarter, and then NFA scored and they got a touchdown with 6:23 left in the game. Oh, now it's tied at 6.
That's a good game, though. I mean, it's great.
Right.
It's really, really great.
So
probably can't move the ball there either. That's probably
I don't think so.
It's probably the same thing that we're having here. You can't move the ball except for those 2 plays that the Golden Eagles had.
That's true. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining us here on Mud Bowl.
Fun. Always fun. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be looking forward to you doing some basketball.
Sounds good.
All right?
Yep.
All right, it's Sean Anderson welcoming him back to the broadcast booth. He'll be, of course, doing some play-by-play and some color with Griswold basketball and NFA basketball this year. All right, the third quarter is just about ready to start. We're going to kick it in a minute. We're going to take one more commercial break before the start of the third quarter. The Golden Eagles from Trumbull, they lead Griswold. Mud Bowl 2018, 14-0 right here on Wolverine Radio.
school football right here on Wolverine Radio. The score is 14-0. Halftime is wrapping up as the boys have had a chance to go talk about the first half. But I tell you what, KT, the only thing I was missing during the first half of the game, I was thinking to myself, it's nice that it's raining and it's mud, but what would make the second half better is more rain.
And more mud.
And more mud. So during halftime, the rain has kind of kicked it up to another level.
It's funny because when we initially walked out, it was almost like it was stopping.
It wasn't bad, right?
And now it's kicked into another gear here. So it's raining even harder than it was, folks, and it's getting worse and worse. And the mud is spreading all the way to the hash marks now. So
most of the starting jerseys are completely obliterated by mud. We're actually having to call some of the boys just because we know what they look like and how they run and how they move. So it should be interesting. We'll see if they make any changes here. At the beginning of the game, Kevin and I thought about something, and we were dead wrong. We thought that the game was going to be decided by the running game. But so far tonight, KT, this game has been decided.
Two big pass plays.
Yep. That's right.
2 30-yard-ish pass plays, one for a touchdown, one that set up another touchdown where the quarterback from the Golden Eagles, Nicholas, ran it in. Coach Koziel actually was just giving me a little bit of inside information, Josh.
Wow.
They're going to go power I in the second half.
Okay.
With Sims, Thibodeau, and Isaiah Clark.
All right.
So Isaiah Clark's going to get in the game here. A little more power running.
Sure.
So the power I basically is you set up the fullback and a halfback behind the quarterback, and the lead blocker is the one that you're trying to get to take out the linebacker that comes through, so that you can get a hole for the halfback to be able to go down right between the tackles and hopefully pick up some yards.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works.
Let's change it up. Yeah, I mean, the Wolverines have tried to throw the ball a couple of times tonight, and honestly, Koziel's on his mark, especially considering the conditions, but his receivers are just having a terrible time wrapping the ball up. Of course, the ball is coming at them through the rain with mud on it, so, everyone's kind of getting a mulligan that way tonight.
We've seen 3 total completed passes tonight,
Right.
probably out of about 15 attempts.
Right.
More on the Golden Eagle side, and all 3 completions were on the Golden Eagle side. 2 to Atherton, and 1 was the touchdown to Argenice. So,
well, give us the kickoff here for the second half as the Wolverines are set to get this game going.
and this kickoff being brought to you by the law offices of Stuart R. Norman, 19 Slater Ave, Jewett City, 860-376-0069.
The Golden Eagles pick up the ball on their own 30-yard line, looking to get some traction on the right-hand side of the field, being forced out at their own 40. First and 10, Golden Eagles to begin the second half of play, 14-0 here, as the Wolverines are going to bring out the defense to get things going here.
All right, so on defense, you know, they didn't play half bad. It was just those 2 big pass plays. Say that 3 times fast. Pass plays that really came back to bite them. We'll see here if the Golden Eagles come out with a 2-score lead and just try to keep it on the ground, run some clock, or if they're going to open it up, go back to the passing game, which was effective for them in the first half.
You can see one of the substitutions for the Wolverines by his clean jersey, number 59, Shazil Ali, coming in on defense for the Wolverines. Eagles take the snap from the shotgun. It's a keeper running up the middle and then forced back with authority by the Wolverines. No gain on that play to open up the second half for the Eagles. Very physical quarterback for the Eagles. This guy is a very talented dude. He's a Class L quarterback, double L quarterback rather. He can throw well and he can run, and he can put a block out too, but that play was stuffed.
Yeah, when you see them huddle up, even when he's standing there calling a play, he's one of, if not the tallest guy in the huddle. So
let's see, what is this? Yeah, we don't have any.
They don't have
stats for
any.
him,
They don't have any height and weight on their
Right.
roster, unfortunately. So,
but he is a good-sized athlete for sure. Taking almost all of his snaps from the shotgun, even with the lousy conditions, it's pretty impressive. That was a beautiful snap, and again, it's a keeper.
Nice
and
play.
Wow, did the Wolverines stuff that play? Let's see, that was Sims with the stuff there.
Mike Sims on that play busted right through the middle from his linebacker position and took Nicholas down right at the line of scrimmage. So they'll bring up 3rd and 9.
These guys literally have nowhere on their bodies to wipe their hands to get any more traction on the ball. They're throwing towels around trying to get their hands dry, trying to get their hands clean. But, man, is it going to be a challenge here in the second half as the rain has really stepped it up. I noticed, Kevin, during halftime the bleachers just emptied out as everyone ran to their cars to try and get warmed up and dried off a little bit. But they're back. A lot of the parents came back from senior night.
Stout people have returned to the stands. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who. You made a good call there with Ali coming in, but I'm trying to figure out for whom. On the Wolverine side. Yeah, I know that, but I don't know who he's subbing for. Oh, is that a fumble?
Ball's out.
Bad
Fumble.
exchange.
Wolverines are celebrating. Let's see how it comes out.
Yeah, they're calling it for the Wolverines.
Number 59, the new substitution, comes up with a big conversion there.
Shazil Ali.
We have not called his name yet this year, but boy, he's making his presence known
I
tonight.
believe you're correct. I know Falco was out there. I did not see Shamari Richards. Maybe that's who he's substituting in for.
Yeah. Defensive linebacker, 5'9", 170 pounds. He's a junior this year. Coming into the game, number 44 is out there. You can tell by the bright green jersey.
This is the plan from what Coach Koziel was just telling me.
Yep.
Yep, so they're going power I. So you got two fullbacks with the halfback.
Nice.
So you got two lead blockers essentially there. And it looks like Thibodeau got the handoff here. So it's Clark and Sims blocking for Thibodeau.
Sure enough, Thibodeau comes up there, number 35, after carrying the ball a few yards.
Got about four.
About 4, yeah. Yep. Boy, it's everything is ish tonight. No hash marks on the field.
Telling you, the camera is giving us a better view than we can see on the field tonight.
It's amazing. Yeah, this camera, Kyle was telling us at halftime, it's doing a great job. It's a new piece of equipment, and great job tonight on YouTube. Thank you, sir. Here's a handoff up the middle. Got some room to run. Got some blocking. Got some daylight.
Breaking
it's Thibodeau
out.
Going to the end zone.
Inside
and
the
it's
10.
A late attempt to tackle. Sure enough, they stop him down inside the 10-yard line. Nice job there by the Wolverines, finding some daylight there.
Inside the 8, so the power eye's working. Good blocking there by Clark and by Sims. Opened up a hole there on the left-hand side, just off tackle for Thibodeau. And this is
the biggest gain of the game for the Wolverines.
It's the first time they've been inside the red zone as well. So it's 1st and goal.
1st and goal for the Wolverines from the line of scrimmage, double I formation. Thibodeau looking to get in the end zone there. Gets inside the 5-yard line before the Golden Eagles are able to stop that play. Picked up about 3 or 4 yards.
Down at the 4-yard line.
So this double I formation seems to it's going to take a little while for the Eagles to adjust. They're a little slow to pick up what's happening here.
See everybody trying to dig their cleats in too as they're coming up to the line of scrimmage, trying to get any traction that they can.
Looks like the Wolverines are going to stick with their plan and just pound the ball right into the middle. Sure enough, maybe a half a yard on that play. The Eagles came in from the side that time and were able to tackle. I believe it was Thibodeau on the carry.
It was Thibodeau again, yes. So I'll be interested to see, because the other option, too, when you have the power eye like this, is you give it to the fullback, not the halfback, so that he could hand it off to either Clark or Sims instead of Thibodeau, which might take the Golden Eagles by surprise.
So from the Eagle 4-yard line, 3rd down here for the Wolverines, lining up in the double I formation from the line of scrimmage. Koziel here takes the snap, hands the ball off. The line is driving forward. The Eagles are pushing back. It's not going to get in the end zone this time for the Wolverines. Good defensive effort there by the Golden Eagles. So going to bring up 4th and 4.
You know, I know the conditions are what they are, but maybe on 2nd and 3rd, would you have wanted to take a shot there to maybe catch them by surprise and do a little rollout pass? But now you're at 4th down, and hopefully you can punch it in here.
Wolverines are going back to the line. They're scurrying back to the line, looking to make a touchdown run here.
Stop them.
And it looks like the Eagles were able to stop the Wolverines from getting in the end zone. So the Golden Eagles are going to take over on downs deep in their own territory. Now, I'll tell you right now what the defense is going to be thinking. Obviously, that was a disappointing result, and a nice, excellent run there to bring the ball down within the 5-yard line. Is they're going to be looking for a turnover here, which is what gave them this opportunity in the first place.
Thibodeau's limping a little bit as he comes off Josh's left leg.
His left ankle was a little gamey a couple weeks ago. It might be the same thing. Yeah, of course, we don't have C.J. Matson in the lineup tonight because of his left ankle. And Thibodeau's left ankle now is no attention or anything. He's just going to stretch it out here a little bit. As the Eagles attempt to run the ball from deep in their own territory, the Wolverine defense swarms all over it. And there's a late flag on that play.
Very late coming in. Looks like the Wolverines.
Looks like the Wolverines are saying that they got a turnover, but let's see. It was Kozel that came up with the ball.
Well, the play lost a yard, but they're calling a personal foul.
Yeah, against
on the Golden
Eagles.
So it'll be half the distance, so they'll be at about a 1.5 yard line as they start second down.
Well, sure enough, it's kind of hard to see because all the jerseys are covered in mud. It's almost hard to tell who's on what team right now, but you can tell that the Wolverines are trying to go for a turnover here and get that ball back in the end zone. With Kozel coming up with the ball, but there was a personal foul called against the Eagles, so
could be a nice safety here. Hey, you get a safety, you get the ball back.
1st and 13 from their own 1, taking the snap from the line of scrimmage for some of the few times tonight. It's a keeper. He's just hanging on to it, trying to pound his way forward, but I'm telling you, Kevin, the Wolverines are just stopping this run.
Yeah, that was just almost like a quarterback sneak, Josh, where
yeah.
He was just trying to give them a little bit of more breathing room outside the end zone.
That was Matt DePonte that time that stepped up and just blocked the gap and ended that play. Let's see, I see another fresh jersey, number 13, Nicholas Guarneri. He was in earlier in the second quarter tonight, but he's back in the game defensively.
So let's see what Trumbull does here.
Boy, they're making a number of substitutions. They're bringing in
You're watching
a new
the
player.
center. You see the center wiping his hands with the blue towel that he has there, Josh?
Yep.
He's just wiping his hands off to make sure he's got a nice grip on the football.
Number 12 comes into the game.
They're going
for
shotgun
the
here.
Shotgun looking to throw the ball, looking to his right-hand side.
Almost intercepted.
Almost intercepted, but that ball was, the receiver was there, but no luck there. So that's going to bring up 4th and long here for the Eagles, bringing out their punt team. So we're going to get the ball right around the 35-yard line here. So good job there by the Wolverines. Didn't get the turnover that they're hoping for, of course, like they did at the earlier part of the quarter here.
Need a good snap here. A long snap is very important. The punter has to be careful he doesn't step out of the back of the end zone, too, because if he does, it's a safety. Somebody's calling timeout.
Yeah, somebody just called a timeout. Let's see.
Trumbull called the timeout. We actually heard the coach in the booth calling timeout, so we knew a timeout was coming.
So we're going to take a quick break here as a timeout has been called on the field. 14-0, the Eagles hold on to a 14-point lead as half of the third quarter has ticked away. Come back in a minute for the rest of the third quarter. You're listening to Griswold High School football right here on Wolverine Radio. Deep in their end zone here as the third quarter is underway. Halfway through the third quarter, Golden Eagles are on top of the Wolverines 14-0. 34-yard punt by the Golden Eagles. The Wolverines 1st and 10 from the Golden Eagle 34-yard line. Good field position here for the Wolverines. Already got one turnover in the second half here, which almost resulted in their first points of the game, but they were stopped defensively at the 4-yard line, and then returned the favor and stopped the Eagles at their own 4-yard line. There's a little recap of the first 6 minutes of the third quarter as Koziel heads back out to the line of scrimmage with the boys in a double I formation trying to pound the ball up the middle. Here we go. Now Thibodeau on the last set of downs, we noticed that his left ankle was a little gamey. I don't think Thibodeau ran the ball that time.
So you come out in the power I to start the second half in your first possession, and it worked until they got inside the 10-yard line where they were stopped. And you come back out with it this time, and they stop you, no gain on the first play. So you're probably going to have to start mixing it up now.
Switch it up.
Because they now know what you're doing. So
if you're not joining us on YouTube tonight, feel free to head on over to our Facebook page, Wolverine Radio Facebook page. Click on the link there. Great video coverage tonight being provided by the Griswold High School. Our videographer Kyle's doing a great job tonight. He actually, folks, has a better view of the game with his cameras than we do because of the conditions.
Fumble,
ball's out. Looks like the Wolverines were able to hang on to it, and they did.
Koziel recovered it. It was a bad exchange on the snap. Yeah, he lost about 2 yards, but then got pushed back in the mud by a couple yards more by the defense. Telling you, the camera picks up. The camera that we have for the replay screen that we have in the booth, in the Griswold Pride broadcast booth, picks up the light better than our eyes can right now on the field.
It's true. It's true. 3rd and 12 here for the Wolverines, struggling to get some yards down the field from the Golden Eagle 35-yard line. Back to throws Koziel. He dried his hands during that last exchange under pressure, and he's going to get sacked for a big loss as the Eagles just swarmed all over that play. His receiver's not able to get open.
Devin DeCoco there on the sack. That was a big sack. That's a loss of about 10 yards.
So it's going to bring up a punt situation here for the Wolverines. I'm sure Koziel will be punting the ball away. Yeah, he's a little disappointed. I think it was a good call to try and throw the ball here. I think that was some good heads-up call by the Wolverines coaching staff here, but his receiver's not able to get open. It's a botched snap. Koziel's in trouble, tries to boot the ball, takes a hit, gets the ball away, and a flag is going to be called on roughing the kicker for sure.
See, that's interesting, Josh. I couldn't tell. But if the player trying to block the punt touches the ball at all with a fingertip, there's no roughing.
Yeah.
Because if you deflect the ball in any way, you can run into the kicker at that point. So, but obviously they didn't think he had that he got a piece of the ball, so now it's going to be a first down for Griswold.
That's a big, because the Eagles would have taken over on downs on their own 40-yard line. As a result, even though he got nailed, he was able to punt the ball at about a 20-yard punt it was. So given the situation, he did a nice job with it. But instead, it's going to be 4th down for the Wolverines. And let's see, where's that spot going to be? Looks like it's going to be right around the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's about right because they were at the 45-ish.
So it's going to bring up 4th and 5 or 6 for the Wolverines here. So obviously being a third quarter with no points on the board, field position being what it is right now, go for it, man.
And that's what they're going to do.
So a big penalty here called against the Golden Eagles. I want to say, Kevin, have we seen any penalties called against the Wolverines tonight? I don't remember one. I remember 3 against the Eagles. Personal foul, roughing the kicker, offsides.
That's it? Those are the only 3 penalties so far? Yep.
All 4 against the Eagles tonight. No penalties called against the Wolverines. When it's dirty out, they play clean, man. I guess that's the deal. The officiators are still talking a little bit about the placement of the ball.
Now, they placed it correctly, but the referee's saying first down. They still have the 4th down on the
it's not a first
down
down
marker.
Though, is it? It should be 4th down, right?
It should be.
It's a replay of 4th down, I thought.
It should be because the 15 yards did not give them a first down.
Right. And the penalty
But he's signaling first down.
Yeah, but the penalty is a replaying of the 4th down.
They're giving him a first down.
What? I don't understand that call.
First down for the Wolverines, so
Is that a different?
Must be an automatic
Must
first
be
down.
An automatic first down for roughing the kicker. Okay, that's a new one on me. High snap. Koziel hangs on to it, and he's sacked at the 35-yard line.
high snap to Koziel.
Koziel's not even getting a chance to breathe right now. His offensive line isn't giving him any time.
Kobe Levinson.
And there was no time for a play to develop there at all. He's
Yeah, I
just
think
lucky to hang on to the ball.
Going to give him a loss of 4.
So the Wolverine offense is struggling. They came out strong with the double I formation, and they had a nice 30, 35-yard run there by Thibodeau. Punched the hole right through the middle, set themselves up for a touchdown, unable to get in the end zone. But Kevin, ever since then, it's just been no offensive yards at all. Really struggling right now to find their groove. The offensive line, I think, they look tired. They're
Going
having a
back
hard
to
time.
the split wing here.
Yeah. It's a good call. You got to try something. Koziel, again, is under pressure. A number of missed tackles, but just no protection for him whatsoever. One of the challenges right now, too, is because of the condition, he's taking the snap at the line of scrimmage. And, man, I tell you what, the Golden Eagles are just figuring this offensive line out because we're not able to hold them back right now.
Yeah, Josh, that looked like a missed exchange there on the handoff. Koziel turned around to hand it off, and by the time he was attempting to hand it off, the Golden Eagles were already in the backfield. He had no chance.
So it's 3rd and 14 here. They had a second attempt after that roughing the kicker call with good field position, but we were wondering if the conditions were going to be the great equalizer, and now they seem to be really hampening the efforts of the Wolverine offense. Defensively, the boys are playing amazing, but offensively really struggling right here. Okay, it's a handoff here, a pitch pass backwards to a running back. Hard to see the jersey number. He got a few yards. Jersey completely obliterated by mud. I'm having a hard time telling who that is.
That looks like Franklin.
I was going to say it looks like Franklin.
Body-wise.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was Anthony Franklin.
I think they got back to the original line.
Yeah.
No, not even quite.
Not even.
4th and 12.
So, Kevin, I'm going to say go for it, man.
Game went to overtime. NFA Killingly 6-6.
Okay.
Killingly scores a touchdown to win it 12-6.
Wow. That sounds like quite the game up there. Another mud fest going on at senior night at Killingly. 4th and 10 for the Wolverines. And Koziel taking a high snap again, punting the ball away. Gets a nice job getting the ball away. The Eagles are like, yeah, we're not touching that thing because it's just so hard to grab a hold of it. So the Eagles are going to take over on downs on their own 8-yard line. That drive was a great heroic effort by Koziel, resulting in not a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah, so that Killing game is a final. My wife just texted me. She's like, are you guys done? Yours is a mud pit.
Yeah.
So this game being brought to you by Dean's Corner Diner, the corner of Ashland and Maine, downtown Jewett City. Dean's for breakfast and lunch. Great breakfast and great sandwiches for lunch. Dean's Corner Diner.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Dean, for Dean's Corner Diner Rubino Family Course sponsoring Wolverine Radio. Very grateful to our sponsors making this coverage of the 2018 season available to you, not only on the radio, but also online on YouTube. Low snap for the Eagles, able to recover. Look at
if he
this.
gets to the
He had a
outside, that
gap
could be
up
trouble.
The middle, gets some room to run before being knocked out of bounds by Franklin. But that was a gain of, I think they're going to move the chains.
Yeah, that looked like a first down, Josh. When he turned the corner, I think he got out to the 20.
Yeah. See, the Eagles were able to do something there that the Wolverines are really struggling, which was create a hole at the line of scrimmage. I have not seen the Wolverines effectively do that after the third snap of the second half. So, man, the rain is really coming down now.
Are they moving the chains or not moving the chains?
Boy, they're marking them a quarter of a yard short. 2nd and centimeters is what it looks like.
So they let the clock run out in the third quarter, so we're going to flip the field.
We're going to take a quick break and join us back for the fourth quarter. It's 14-0 in the muddiest game that we've ever seen here in Griswold. The Wolverines are trailing the Eagles in some amazing conditions, so be sure to come back and join us either on the air or on YouTube for the conclusion of this game coming up in just a few moments right here on Wolverine Radio. High School football Wolverines here at home on senior night. Miserable conditions for football, but I'll tell you what, the boys are doing the best they can. But the conditions are being the great leveler here tonight. 14-0. The Trumbull Golden Eagles maintain a 14-point lead. Kevin, so far tonight, our defense has really done a nice job, especially here in the third quarter, holding the Trumbull offense to basically nothing offensively. But unfortunately, our offense had the same result.
Yeah, they're winning the battle of the field position here in the second half.
Sure are.
Trumbull's been deep in their own territory the whole second half. We just can't convert when we get the ball in the good field position that we've had so far.
So we've got 12 minutes left in the game here as the Eagles are taking over 1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line from the shotgun like he's been doing all night. It's a run up the middle, gets a yard or two on that play.
I think that's Osborne again. Osborne is pretty much their workhorse running back for the Golden Eagles. Seems pretty sure-handed. He's a good plotter in this type of field.
As the stands here have kind of emptied out, as only the most stalwart remain sheltering in place under their umbrellas and ponchos, and the rain is really driving down on the field now. Wind has not been a factor tonight, thankfully, so what few degrees we have, no wind chill. But I'll tell you what, all the boys are soaked. The field is a complete mud pit.
It's raining harder now, Josh, than it has all night.
That's correct.
This is unbelievable.
Second down here for the Eagles. Takes the snap from the shotgun, runs up the middle. Wolverines
good
are
hole
there
there
to defend.
You had a nice hole there. Wolverines close it up quickly, but after you got about 3 or 4 yards.
It's going to bring up about 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 6. There's a young man who's slow to get up, and I want to say he's an Eagle, but it's almost impossible to tell. He's up now, sure enough.
The person bringing out the ball helped him up.
Yep. He's running off to the field. So, amazingly, Kevin, tonight, no serious injuries. There's been no medical crew on the field at all.
Not yet.
Given the conditions, so.
Let's hope we didn't say that.
Yeah, we've
Now
never
something's
seen
gonna
a
happen.
game like this in our 3 or 4 years of covering the guys here. We've never seen it rain like this. Just absolutely pouring down rain now. Just standing water on the field, standing water on the sidelines. Boys are completely soaked. They ran out of clean jersey space to wipe their hands a long time ago.
The only thing they have that's clean is their helmets.
That's really the only thing you can tell to differentiate the teams at this point is the white helmets for the Wolverines and the gold helmets because their jerseys are all covered in mud. Same play up the middle.
Nice
Boy, the
tackle.
Wolverines stop it for a loss. I want to say I saw the ball pop out, but maybe I didn't. No. I thought for a second that maybe the ball came out, but no, it did not. So it's going to bring up 4th and 3rd for the Eagles. They're going to have to punt, Kevin. There's no way they're going to go for it so deep in their own territory with conditions being what they are. They can't afford to give the Wolverines the ball right there. So sure enough, they're bringing out their punt team. A lot of, almost all of the punts tonight, except for maybe 2, the boys are just letting the ball roll to a stop and taking it where it is because it's just so treacherous out. The chance of a turnover is so high in these conditions. Our receiver is back at the 50-yard line. Nice punt here. Bounces at the 43, rolls out to the 47-48 in Trumbull territory, and then just gets swallowed by the mud.
Yeah, they did have Chappelle back there, but as soon as he saw the ball hit in the muck in the middle, he just let it go. Somebody's hobbling off there, Josh. You see who that is? To the sideline here, coming to the Griswold sideline. He's got his head down, his hands on his hip. I can't
see who it is.
Totally obliterated number, like we keep saying. You can't read anything. He's got his play cards even coming off his wrist. Is that Cozio?
Hard to say. Cozio was favoring his left leg. And like
no, I think that's Thibodeau.
Number 14 or 34.
Oh, that's Sims.
It's Sims. It's number
that's
34.
Sims hobbling off.
If I squint through the binoculars, I can see what used to be a number on that jersey. Here we go. It's a pitch pass back to number 21.
Chai Cow.
Devin Chaikow, who gets the ball back out to the line of scrimmage, basically.
I think they said he stepped out of. I think they're going to say he stepped out of bounds a little before that.
He was trying to run.
A lot before that.
Yeah.
They put him back like 3 yards.
Oh, yeah, that was a loss there, sure enough. He was trying to set the edge there, and that really hasn't worked at all tonight. Nobody has set the edge.
There's no footing. You can't get out to the edge.
And you can't cut, even if your offensive line did set the edge, you can't cut up. You just have to keep cruising out of bounds, which is what happened right there.
Sims coming back in, Josh.
Okay. I wonder if we're seeing some guys limp a little bit, and it almost looks like, if I had to guess, some cramping of their quads. So
it's kind of funny with all this hydration.
Yeah.
That you would get cramped.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Well, you have to wonder. You get warmed up at halftime, and you get to rest a little bit. It's almost like just got to keep moving. 2nd and 13 here for the Wolverines. Throwing to his right-hand side, underthrown. No chance at that was Devin Chaikow, the intended receiver.
And Chaikow was open.
Yeah, he was wide.
He was wide open to the far side, right at about the original line of scrimmage. And Koziel I just don't think he can grip the ball.
Yeah, he's not playing with his usual zip and pep. He's had a hard game, man. He's gotten hit a few times. Defensively, he made a stop after an interception that cost him physically. His left leg looked like he was a little bruised. And so this game has definitely taken a toll on him. He's out there. He's soldiering on, but you can definitely tell he's not playing with his usual zip, which is totally understandable due to the physical nature of this game and also just the completely miserable conditions. High snap, fumbles a snap. He's in trouble. He's getting sacked, tries to throw the ball away, incomplete pass. Just very frustrating. We're seeing right now of every 4 possessions, of every 4 downs rather, that the Wolverines have at least 1 or if not 2 botched snaps because just can't snap the ball to Koziel at all, which is odd. He's taking a lot of his snaps right at the line of scrimmage, and the Eagles are taking their snaps from the shotgun, and they have a very high success rate with their snaps. They've only had 1 or 2 botched snaps, and we're having 1 or 2 botched snaps every series right now, so just really difficult to
I think both teams at this point, Josh, are just hoping that the 7:53 goes by really fast.
Another high snap as the Wolverines have to punt the ball away. Another nice punt by Koziel, but
I think it went out at about the 20.
Yep. So again, like you said, Kevin, the Wolverines are absolutely winning the battle of field position in this half, but not able to move the ball forward. Neither team really offensively, and I really do feel that the conditions are just making a credible offense.
So one of the
very
things
challenging.
Coach Koziel also said to us at halftime is that they have 3 games on this field tomorrow.
No way.
Because they're doing the youth football championships here.
You got to be kidding me.
No, that's what he said. And this rain's not supposed to stop until tomorrow morning.
Right.
So it's going to rain through the night.
Well, there's a number of options for them to play youth league football here at the school. I can think of 3 fields right off the top of my head that don't look like this, that are on this campus. So it will be no treat playing here tomorrow, I can tell you that much. Here come the Eagles running the ball to the left-hand side, and maybe a yard or 2 on that play, depending on the spot. The Wolverine defense, it's funny. It's almost like it's different guys out there defensively because they're playing with more energy on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive, but it's the same guys.
It's much easier to play defense in a game like this than it is offense.
Yeah.
Defense definitely has the advantage. It's kind of funny, though, because you always talk about at the higher levels in college and pro, the offense has the advantage because they know where they're going. Mm-hmm. But in field conditions like this, you can't move. You can't plant. You can't cut.
So 2nd and 10 for the Eagles as they hang on to their 14-point lead here. We're about halfway through the 4th quarter of play. Back to throw are the Eagles. He decides to keep the ball, and man, does he get pounded by the Wolverine defense for a big loss there.
I think Van Tine was in there first. Wrapped him up. Then he got a little help from his friends.
I say he did. That was about a 5-yard loss there for the Trumbull Golden Eagles. Man, you can hear the rain on the press box.
You can hear it on the umbrella outside.
At the end of the game, can I give you my keys and you can drive the car over here? Is that bad?
Are any of our youth from from the church still here?
Yeah, we had a good crew here from River Church at halftime. It was nice talking to the Janoviches and, of course, Justin Ranucci, and that was cool. I promised them treats if they stayed till the end of the game, so I don't know. Let's see.
Another ECC score. Fitch 39, East Lyme 6.
39 points on a game like tonight, huh? Boy, a run up the middle that was just stuffed there. Let's see. The initial contact was made. Oh, boy, it's almost impossible to get a jersey. This young man's face is covered in mud. I cannot tell who. Oh, you know who that is? That's Michael Sims. I can tell by the flappy play card on his left wrist.
Yep. That's his play card obviously was broken at some point.
Yep. Man, he just
39-6. They were playing it. Was that at East Lyme, Mike? Don't they have an artificial turf field? Yes. That's probably why.
Man, Sims just having.
Yeah, if you have a real turf field tonight, this is the kind of game you're going to get. On an artificial turf field, you could still get some points.
Yeah.
It's going to be slippery, but
I'm still impressed by that last play because Sims just laid himself out there and came up with a big stop and, of course, forcing the punt now on 4th down as the Eagles lost about 10 or 15 yards on that offensive drive. Snap went to the left-hand side but was able to catch it and punt it away. About a 32-yard punt there in the driving rain. Nobody making any attempt. The ball's not really even bouncing. It's like squelching when it comes down into the ground.
it goes splat as soon as it hits the ground.
When Sims
the only way it's going to roll is if you hit the tip.
When Sims came up from that stop, man, his face was covered in mud, and you can tell his left leg is a little hurt. He's probably got a bruise on it or something, but
you see some of the guys trying to stick their hands in the puddles on the ground
to rinse their hands off.
To rinse their hands off so they can get some grip.
Well, we're making memories tonight. If this is your senior night game, you're not going to forget this game.
No.
I mean, obviously.
For all the wrong reasons, but you're not going to forget it.
It's looking more and more like a Wolverine loss here, 14-0. No points scored in the second half at all by anybody. As the Wolverines take over on downs, they go back to the double I formation, trying to run the ball up the middle. But
they got about 2 or 3 yards out of that. At least it was positive yardage.
Yeah. Almost impossible to tell who is doing what out there right now as all of the jerseys are completely blocked up. I only see one jersey on the Wolverines that I can easily read, and that's number 7, Jack Neff's car. All the other jerseys you have to really focus on them there.
Well, the Wolverines did have a great chance their first possession of this half,
they
Josh,
sure
to
did.
punch it in. They got inside the 5, but they couldn't do it.
No. Kozil here still trying to make the magic happen. He opts to keep the ball running to the left-hand side of the line. Has some room
First down.
to run. Is going to pick up the first down before being forced out of bounds. Kevin, again, great field position all second half by the Wolverines. Hopefully they can capitalize here. It'd be nice to get some points on the board.
Well, I think they gave it to him all the way down to the 15, Josh. Didn't look like he went that far, but that's where they're spotting the ball.
Again, high school football, 2 scores is a tie game, and it's being 14-0, 3.5 minutes remaining in the game with a turnover and a score here, buddy. Anything's possible. I know it sounds crazy. It'd be like a senior night miracle in the mud, but it's definitely doable. Yeah, you're right. Very favorable spot from the 15. Nice effort there by. Let's see more of that, He had good traction. He had good blocking. That's working a lot better than running the ball up the middle. Sure enough, same play, running to the left-hand side of the ball. And he's just going to work his way out of bounds. He picked up another couple of yards.
Well, you had the Music City miracle. Maybe it would be the Mud Bowl miracle tonight.
What's interesting is they're not even trying to set the edge anymore. They're just setting the slosh and running the play out of bounds.
They're basically, it's just student body left, and they're trying to hope they get a block or two so that they can spring them.
I mean, it's like once you choose a direction that you're going to run in, that's the direction you're going. There's no changing course. They're going to run the same play. His legs slipping out from underneath him as soon as he got the snap. But I tell you what, Kevin, he got another 2 to 3 yards.
Well, one of the things this does, Josh, is it stops the clock every time he goes out of bounds. So they are saving some time here. So.
I'm liking it. It's slow and deliberate and methodical, but I'll tell you right now, the Eagles are going to have a hard time shutting this down, and as soon as they do, you start running the play up the middle, and Bob's your uncle is touchdown.
Well, they're at the 10 now, Josh, so they have 2 more downs to try to get it inside the 5, which will give them another first down.
Yeah.
Be first and goal.
So
it would be nice for them to get a score here to put some points on the board.
So 3rd and 5 here as the Wolverines have great field position, and they've learned to deal with the conditions here. They're running the ball to the left-hand side. Koziel's just hanging on to it. He has better protection running than he does standing in the pocket. Hands the ball off to Thibodeau
Up the middle this
Up
time.
the middle, just like we were hoping.
Inside the 5.
Nice gain
Got a
there
first
by
down.
Thibodeau. So going to move the chains, 1st and goal for the Wolverines. That's what we're saying. You move the ball left, left, left. You run straight ahead. Watch what happens. That was great play calling there. Really good.
Got to change it up. Mix it up.
You're not going to throw the ball. You
No.
know, it's just not working tonight for the Wolverines at all.
What do we got, Josh? 3.5 yard line-ish? Is that what they are?
Yep. Looking
the
to
middle
run the
again.
ball right up the middle, and I'll tell you what, folks, it's going to be close to a touchdown.
Touchdown.
And sure
They give it to
enough,
him. Nice.
6 points for the Wolverines on senior night here. 6-14. We'll see if they decide to go for 2 or 1.
Thibodeau on the touchdown.
That was just a good job. I'll tell you what made the difference here for the Wolverines is the defense, because the defense not only stopped the Golden Eagles, but actually pushed them back 10 or 12 yards, and then, of course, that set them up for a low punt. You know, there's only so much you can do when the wind and the rain is just driving in your face. And the Wolverines were able to move the ball down the field, about 40, 45-yard drive, and they're going for 2. It looks like Thibodeau is trying to get the ball in the end zone. Let's see what the call is. It's going to be close, and they're saying no good.
No good. Nope. So the 2-pointers denied.
No 2-point conversion for the Wolverines. I'll tell you what, from here it looked close. You actually have a better view if you go online and watch on YouTube, especially if that end of the field. So 6 points for the boys. 6
They're
to
on the
14
board.
with a little over 2 minutes remaining in the game. I'll tell you what, Kevin, this is could be interesting with a turnover. It's going to get pretty close. So
They're going to onside kick you here for sure, probably, because
Absolutely.
they pretty much do that anyway. When they kick off, they do the squib kick, onside kick all the time. Looks like E-Dog's coming out to do it. All right, let's see what he can do. This game being brought to you by Goodwin Family Dentistry, 25 East Main Street, Jewett City, 860-376-4483. Modern Dentistry, old-fashioned values.
So Evan Anderson is going to come into the game. He's got a nice, clean jersey. He, of course, is the team kicker. He's a senior this year, participated in senior night. Look at that nice white jersey.
He's even got a long sleeve shirt with white sleeves.
He's got white socks.
I think he should just dive into the middle of the field, so it looks like he played the whole game.
He should, man. So he's setting up for the kickoff from what used to be the 40-yard line, which is now a puddle.
Yeah, they actually announced E-Dog last tonight. It was a nice honor for him on senior night.
6-14, the boys are on the board. 2 minutes, 19 seconds remaining in the game. E-Dog communicating with the team, walking and running through the mud. Onside kick, which was cleanly fielded.
That was a heck of a catch.
It was.
Because that was no easy feat in this kind of weather.
That was a line drive.
Line drive right at him, and he just snatched it. That was a nice play.
Yeah.
That was Devin DeCoco, who caught the touchdown pass.
Okay.
For the Golden Eagles.
Golden Eagles are going to have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 48-yard line. So, honestly, I think we're going to see the Eagles here do their best to run the clock down. I definitely don't anticipate any pass plays.
Well, both teams still have all 3 timeouts left here in the second half, Josh. So with 2:17 to go, if Griswold can stop them here in the first and second down, they'll be able to take 2 timeouts.
Sure enough, look where he's taking the snap, Kevin, right from the line of scrimmage. They're obviously not going to throw the ball. It's a handoff, and the Wolverine defense just got right all over it.
Loss of a couple
yards there.
And the Wolverines are going to take a timeout.
Yeah.
And they do. That's their first one.
Yeah. Little over 2 minutes remaining in the game. The muddiest game we've ever seen.
So now what you're starting to see, Josh, on the field, and you can see it if you're watching on YouTube, the mud is getting so dense and thick that the cleats are sinking right into it, and you can't even see their shoes.
Right. Crazy conditions. We would have never guessed. In fact, we said at the beginning of the game that the only points on the board are there because of a passing game for the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. And you thought there's just no way you're going to be able to throw on a night like tonight.
But the first half of play, it was raining, but it wasn't torrential like it is now.
It's not like it is now.
I mean, it's just, if this was snow, buddy, we'd be spending the night in Griswold because it's
Well,
really coming down.
You were saying that you had dinner with the DeSantoses this week,
Yeah.
and Carlos works for the
Yeah.
state DPW.
Yes.
And we were talking about the winter, and I said, man, if we're gonna have a winter like we've had in the fall with the wetness, we're in trouble.
We're gonna get pounded. Yeah.
We're in trouble. I mean, we set a record. What? How many? 3 years ago with 84
It was
inches.
2015, I think.
Yeah,
was we
84
got.
inches, and
Yeah.
we got Boston set a record with 110 inches that winter. So this is looking like it's going to be another 2015.
Well, plow guys will make some money. Sure enough, the Eagles have changed up their plan here because now they're taking their snaps at the line of scrimmage, handing the ball off. Wolverines fumble, saying they have
recovered
the ball.
They did.
I tell you, Kevin, that's exactly what we said about a minute ago.
Who recovered it? He's got the ball still, Josh. Can you see that number? We got the replay here. He just knifed right in, and before he even could hand it off, Josh, he picked it up out of the air as the quarterback was turning around to hand it off, and he just stole it.
Is it number 58 or 50?
That's Sims if it's 50.
Or Richards if it's 58.
Richards at 58.
So one of our captains, I think, came up big there. That's exactly what we were saying. That back when we had about 3.5 minutes remaining in the game, and the Wolverines scored. 2 scores is a tie in high school football. Now they're within 2 scores. They're down by 8, so they would obviously need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. But here they go. They were hoping for a turnover, and they sure got one. Thibodeau to the right-hand side of the ball. Kevin, why are they calling that play? Why are they calling that play?
So now it's going to run a lot of time off the clock unless
That's
they took a
what I'm saying.
timeout. I think they just took another timeout.
Because
But again, you're taking a timeout really early in the possession.
I know.
Minute 53 left. Now you only have one timeout.
On the last drive,
use.
we saw run left, run left, run left. Just let Koziel keep the ball. Don't hand the ball off because they can't hang on to it. Just get the ball to Koziel and let him run to the left or the right. He's going to pick up 3 to 4 yards every time he does. It turns a lot of time out of the clock, but he's getting out of bounds. He's stopping the clock. That's what worked on the last drive, man. I don't know why you'd start with a run up the gut to the right side of the ball, and you've got every transition tonight with the football is a proposed fumble. I mean, just so miserable out there.
It's so funny, too, because throughout this game you've seen when the players come over to the sideline, if they're grabbing water bottles, they're not taking a drink. They're washing their eyes out.
Yeah.
They're trying to wash their face off so they can see.
Man, I'm telling you just got to – I mean, yeah, you have to run, and yeah, it's going to burn up the clock, but run like you were doing the last set of downs, last possession. Run left, get out of bounds. Nobody's going to stop you because nobody can cut, nobody can set the edge. And you might work it in the end zone in the 2 minutes remaining in the game, but well, let's see what they do this time.
See how they're set up here. It looks like they're going with the power eye again.
So it's a 2-yard run on the first set of downs here. 2nd and 8. It's a fake handoff. Koziel's hanging on to the ball, looking to run to the left, but he's in trouble deep in the pocket. They're going to whistle the play down. Number 27 there.
Midfield.
For the Eagles. Backed up the Wolverines big time. It almost looked like he was going to throw to the left, but didn't see anything pan out. But the time that he took trying to make that decision, his coverage collapsed and basically sacked. A stand-up sack.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. It's more than 10 yards, about 12 yards.
Scoreboard saying 2nd and 20 now.
That was DeCoco again, the young man who made a nice catch on that attempted onside kick.
It's a fake to number 11, throws the
Screen
ball
pass.
to number 7, who Chaikow
Nice
has
block
the
out
ball
front.
and running down the left-hand side.
That's a
tackled
first down.
in bounds. They're going to have to call a timeout here.
That's the first down. They do stop the clock for the change, Josh.
Okay.
When they move the change, so they got to get back up to the line of scrimmage and go right away here.
That was Jack Nev's car on the reception there, not Devin Chaikow. But Jack Nev's car comes up big on a little screen pass. Gutsy play calling. Love it. What a nice game there. Converting a big second
they're huddling.
down.
What are they doing?
They've
They
got
should have had a play call. They should have been ready to go up at the line of scrimmage.
less than a minute remaining in the game.
They
as
just wasted 8 seconds in the huddle.
the boys are basically inside the 25-yard line here. And
They're doing
sure
the
enough, they're running the
student
same
body
play.
left.
Student body left. And tackled inbounds, so this is going to be a problem for them.
They got to
the
get back
clock
up
is
to the
gonna
line of
keep
scrimmage
running.
quickly. They're calling a timeout.
Okay.
It's their final timeout.
That's it. So half a minute remaining in the game as Koziel ran the ball to the left-hand side, picked up a few yards, but they need about 25 or 30.
So, Josh, when they were moving the chains, it was a minute 1 on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So that just took them 25 seconds, that play, because they didn't have a play to get back up to the line of scrimmage ready to go. They had to huddle, call a play, then get up to the line of scrimmage, and then they ran the play, and Koziel didn't get out of bounds.
Right.
If you're going to run that play, you got to get out of bounds so you don't have to waste your last time out. Now you have no timeout, so everything you do has to be to the sideline to get out of bounds.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go for it, and you're going to try to throw to the end zone.
That's what I would do. 2nd and 6. Stop the clock, even if you don't get in the end zone.
So what happens if this goes to overtime?
We go to overtime.
We go to overtime.
Crazy game to go to overtime.
No kidding.
Wouldn't this be awesome if it went to, like, quadruple overtime?
There's other words.
The game started late as it was.
All right. Let's see how the Wolverines are going to finish this game up. 30 seconds remaining in the game. 2nd and 6. Koziel hanging on to the ball. Sure
Going to
enough,
the
he's
end zone.
throwing it to the end
He
zone.
throws it
Guy
short.
is open.
Oh, he tried to come
Incomplete
back
pass.
for it.
And let's see, there's no flag on the play.
No flag. There shouldn't be because the ball was underthrown, and the receiver had to come back for it. And both the receiver and the defender turned around and tried to come back for the ball, and they fell down. They both slipped.
Yeah.
But he had him. He was open,
Yeah.
and unfortunately the ball
Just underthrown.
it was underthrown. Ball hung up in the air, which is no surprise in these conditions.
Yeah, Koziel ended up on the ground, so he took a hit at the conclusion of that play. That play only took about 5 seconds off the clock.
6.9 to be exact.
There you go. 30 seconds remaining in the game brings up 3rd and 6. That's exactly what the play that I would have called, though. And I'll tell you,
They should do it again. They should do it again.
Why wouldn't you?
Just keep taking shots. You have no timeouts left, and you can't take the chance that you're not going to get out of bounds if you run the ball.
You're not going to run it up the middle. Sliding and slipping. Koziel running to the left. He's unable to get his feet
he fumbled
underneath
it.
him.
He fumbled it.
The ball is out. Koziel is down. Let's see if the Eagles came up with the ball.
They got to get up to the line of scrimmage.
Did the
15
Eagles-
seconds.
Did the Eagles end up with the ball?
No. Koziel had it. They're going to spike it here,
So it's 4th
would
and
be my
6.
guess.
Well, if they spike,
Nope.
they can't spike it. It's
They're going to
4th
run
down.
a play.
And he's going to get sacked. Oh, he steps
He's
up
gotta
through
get
the
rid of it.
pocket, and then he gets sacked.
Yep. Now he gets
That's
sacked.
the game, folks.
That's the ball game.
Just ran out of time, so the Eagles are able to make a defensive stop there from the Wolverines. Wolverines are frustrated because they really knew they had a chance here to tie this game up.
Kobe Vantine was giving Andrew Koziel a hug. This is a tough game to play in. So game over.
14-6. The Wolverines are handed a loss on senior night via the Golden Eagles. That is going to be a long bus ride home, buddy. Soaking wet.
Yeah, this is about the worst conditions you could have for a football game.
Yeah.
Even if it snows, it doesn't get this nasty.
Miserable.
I mean, the only other game I could think of in memory was the game the Patriots played against, I think it was Miami, back in the 70s, I think it was, where the guy came out with a snowblower to snowblow the path for the kicker, John Smith, to be able to kick the field goal for the Patriots to win it. There was so much snow in the field that he had to do that. It's the only one I can remember
crazy.
off the top of my head. But this
Crazy.
has just been the worst conditions I've ever seen for a football game.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll wrap up our coverage of tonight's senior night game, the Wolverines versus the Golden Eagles up from Trumbull. Wolverines come up short 6-14, folks. Miserable conditions, interesting game. We'll give you a quick recap, and then we'll sign off. We'll be right back after a quick break. You're listening to Wolverine Radio. tonight's game. It's the Wolverines versus the Golden Eagles. They're up from Trumbull, 14-6 loss here at home. Miserable conditions tonight. The boys did a good job. Kevin, you made an interesting observation as we went off the air for a quick break, which was that the Wolverines outplayed
them in the second half.
They did.
They sincerely did. I mean, they outplayed them. They won the battle of field position. They had a chance early on in the third quarter to punch one in, and had they done that, this would have been really interesting at the end because they would have been going for the win, not the tie. And it was just one of those nights where just playing in these conditions at all, these young men, you got to give them kudos. To have a game that was as competitive as it was, especially against a team coming from a double L school, you just have to say, okay, there are no moral victories. I get that. We're playing, they keep score, you want to win. But ultimately, you went into this game, and had it been good conditions, I think the Wolverines would have had no chance.
Right. Yeah, one of the things that we saw tonight that I really liked was the flexibility in the play calling. They did not get in a rut. The first half did not yield any points, and so they came back after the halftime, changed up the offense, and then changed it again, and then changed it again, resulting in the 6 points, of course. And honestly, it's such a good effort. This game almost would have gone into overtime had things gone just a very slightly different. The Wolverines won the game defensively in the second half for sure. Negative yardage was the story of the second half for the Golden Eagles. And also won the game of field position, as you said. The Wolverines had great field position the entire second half. So lots to work with there. And, the coaching staff was out on the field a little extra time talking to the captains and the starters. And I'm sure there were a couple of miscues at the end of the game, a little clock mismanagement. But honestly, given these absolutely deplorable conditions, the guys did a good job. So we're looking forward to a good outing on Thanksgiving Day. The guys will be on the road, as will Wolverine Radio up in Plainfield. So I will be calling the game with Wolverine Radio, PJ Pastor Josh here. And looking forward to that. It's always fun. This will be the second time I've gone up to Plainfield to call the Thanksgiving game. Of course, we had an upset victory last year at home. Talk to us a little bit about what we can expect from Plainfield in a couple of weeks.
Plainfield's 8-1, so they are in the playoff hunt in their class for the state. So they are 8-1. If they win on Thanksgiving here and be 9-1, they almost assuredly will be in the playoff picture. In their class. So they lost the first game of the season to Killingly. We were actually there for that.
Yeah, they got smoked.
And we saw that, and we're like, oh, Plainfield's not going to be good this year.
Mercy rule went into effect, I think, third quarter, fourth quarter.
So, but then they came out, and they've won 8 in a row. Now, some of the
impressive.
games have been close. Like, they just beat Windham 6-0 today, but again, conditions being what they were.
Yeah.
Griswold beat Windham 20-8, but it was different conditions, of course. So there are some common opponents. Craig Co-op, they beat them 41-0.
Wow.
Griswold kind of struggled with Co-op there.
They were behind until the half.
Yeah, and that was away for Plainfield as well. So you can go down you just look at their schedule, and there are some common opponents. And sometimes you can get an idea of what the matchup will be like. But every team that you play, it is based on matchups. Your offense against their defense, your defense against their offense. And depending on the schemes that you have, it can make the matchups be good or bad, depending on what you run. So what we saw against Killingly, which, again, first game of the season, right out of the gate, may not be a good picture of what Plainfield has become throughout the season. Because what we saw, they were really only 2 guys that were playing at all for Plainfield in that first game.
That's right. So, and we've seen Koziel develop quite a bit since our first game against Bacon Academy. He took a bruising tonight. He did a good job, though. He led his team. 14-6 was the loss, so we came up short. But a good effort by the guys. They have a week to rest up, of course, and a little bit of time, and then Thanksgiving. So we will see you then in Plainfield. You can, of course, come to the game if you're available to do so, or you can catch us at Wolverine Radio. I believe we're going to try and have that game video broadcast as well on YouTube that night. So very appreciative for the video services provided by Kyle. And on behalf of Mike Minarski, our producer, and Kevin Thompson, my buddy here in the booth, the Griswold Pride broadcast booth at 201 Slater Avenue, myself, PJ Pastor Josh. Thanks so much for joining us for tonight's competition between the Wolverines and the Golden Eagles all the way up from Trumbull. The boys are going to need a little extra tide in the laundry machine tonight, Mom and Dad, because, boy, was it a mud bowl. It's got a memorable senior night here at Griswold High School. So thanks for tuning in, as always, and continue to listen to Wolverine Radio for your local up-to-date news and sports as well as talk throughout the week. And we'll see you on Thanksgiving. Good evening and good night from Wolverine Radio.